Hello, guys. Can you hear me well?
Yes, like
Yes, teacher.
Okay. I'm afraid there is some interruption from my side because internet connection here isn't stable enough. All right. So let me show the slide to all of you right here. Then you all got a slide, and I already created a new channel for the next chapter on the general and security exemption, which is very important in the context of COVID-19 so far. I just want to inform you that I think you know quite well about the structure of WTO so far that I typed last month or something. We know what does it mean by MC. MC is the Ministerial Conference. Cambodia joined in 2017 in Argentina, Buenos Aires City. Okay, and then it was subject to be held again in 2019, but unfortunately, because of the COVID-19 striking the momentums of the event, they decided to delay to 2020. But unfortunately, the COVID-19 exacerbated, the COVID-19 deteriorated. That is why they decided to suspend to be held in November, December 2021. But unfortunately, once again, on 30 November to 2nd December, the period for which the MC12 would be held has been right now suspended once again because of the new detection of the Omicron, a new variants of the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, so right now we got 3 times of suspensions or delay of the MC12 Ministerial Conference 12. Okay, so the delegation of Ministry of Commerce, consisting of my boss and the subordinate, also including my minister, we were just like halfway to the Geneva office of the WTO, but unfortunately, when we got in the middle way, we got the announcements by the WTO DG saying that the WTO member right now decided to unanimously suspend the MC12 event. Okay, so right now some of the delegation are flying back to Cambodia. Okay, so what we have been preparing for months, they have been right now not usable because we have no MC12 events at all this year. Okay, so we are waiting to see whether we are gonna have more opportunity to hold this important meeting or not. Okay, and I just want to also let you know that right now the oil crisis is facing another important trajectory once again after the new detection of the Omicron, new COVID-19 variant, because the OPEC will be finally, actually last month during the meeting between the OPEC member and OPEC Plus, including Russia, they promised to add another 400,000 barrel per day BPD, okay, in order to ensure the efficient or enough supply of the oil globally across the world. I mean, but right now with the COVID-19 new variant has been found, the expectation of the pledge, the promise by the OPEC and the OPEC Plus member will be suspended. So they are right now considering to cut the production or the output high from now. So when the output has been reused, okay, due to the lack of demand, okay, we will see some more change, okay, in terms of price, okay, of the gasoline. Okay, so let us see what will be happening later on, because the price of the gasoline or oil right now has been very volatile, has been very changing, okay, from month to month, from weeks to week, and not to defend the position of the government Cambodia or anything, but we are the academic. We can surely see the real factor behind the price increase of the oil. Okay, it is not the production of Cambodia, but it is the entire reliant on the import from the foreign country, especially from the OPEC through Singapore. That is why that is what I want to let you know. Okay. Okay. Okay, so right now let us go back to our lecture on the non-tariff measure. I think I already opened the. Okay, I got you here. All right, can you right now see the slide shown on screen? Okay, wait. Okay, is it visible to you right now, guys?
Yes, sure.
Okay, very good. Okay, so yes, last week I think we finished this part with regards to the QO, and I think you know quite well about the definition of the word TRQ, tariff rate quota. Yes, it refers to the tariff that will be added on the product that exceed the amount provided in a quota. Okay, so since it is about the tariff imposition, it's not a QO. Okay, so TRQ, tariff rate quota, is not the quantitative restriction because it is also about the impositions of tariff measure, okay, not about the quota itself, because it exceeds the quota already, and then right now we face the extra tariff beyond the quota allowable. Okay, so we do not call it the quantitative restriction because quantitative restriction only refer to quota, import and export, ban and prohibition. Okay, these are all the forms of the QO. Okay, quantitative restriction, but TRQ is not. Okay. Yeah, that is all about very important measure of the that are imposed on trade and good. But there are also some other important measures that are considered as QO in trade on trade and good. The first one is transparency. It is about the publication requirement of law and regulation. For example, based on Article 10 of GATT, it means that some government fail to provide prior notice or prior publication of any law regulation with regards to the imposition of new measure to the trader. So when traders are not well informed of the procedure, the new procedure enshrined in the law and regulation that have been imposed by the government lately, they don't know what they will be doing, they will be required by the government to perform these, to fulfill these. Okay, so it's very imperative, and it is also very obligatory for the member to provide publication of law and regulation, okay, before at least, for example, 1 month, okay, before the intent to force of the law. Okay, you cannot just say, okay, right now we adopted the law and then we promulgate a law to make it into force, and then we will apply that law right away tomorrow. So I think this is very instant. This is very shocking for the trader who are not yet well prepared. Okay, with the measure that will be imposed on them. Okay, so it's very important for the member state to publish the law and regulation with regards to the measure, the new measure, for example, in order to let the trader well be well prepared, right? Yeah. Also, the notification requirement. Okay. For example, Article 12 of Agreement on Agriculture and also Article 12.6 of Agreement on Safeguard Measure. Before any member of the WTO decide to apply any QO, it can be in a way of ban, restriction, prohibition, quota, import and export license, and other measure. Okay. So before they can apply such measure, they are required to notify to the WTO member, to the WTO secretariat or the WTO committee. Yeah, for example, if you are imposing the new ban on new prohibitions of import, okay, on agricultural goods, you must notify such kind of measure to the Committee on Agriculture at the WTO first. So they will examine, they will check, they will try to validate your reason, okay, of applying such measure. Okay, because if you do not notify to them and then you just apply your measure right away, some measure might be illegal. For example, some measure might not have certified any exception, okay, provided in the QO. Okay, so it is illegal. It is actually against the commitment provided under the WTO law, by which all members must be very transparent, okay, when they impose any measure. Okay, so notification requirement is also the condition for the transparency. Okay, and for example, during the COVID-19, you know what happened? A lot of countries apply export restriction, okay, medical masks, of personal protective equipment PPE, and also some country in Europe even apply export restriction or export ban on medical tool or medicine, to make it simple. Okay, and before they apply such measure, they did not notify to the WTO council or committee in charge of this product. Okay? They just applied right away. So what if, right, if when they finish applying their measure, and then the committee found that the measure that had been applied so far were unjustified, were illegal. Okay, so what should they do? Okay, to compensate the victim country. Okay, the country that were not able to import a very necessary item, very necessary medical stuff, very necessary medical product. Okay, to alleviate the pandemic situation in their respective country. Okay? So it's very important to notify the measure first to the WTO's related council or committee, so that they will evaluate the justification or the rationality of your measure, okay, to be put in place. Okay? And what else? The establishment of inquiry point, because some member, when they apply the measure, they did not provide enough space for the inquiry point, meaning that when the trader wants to get information about the measure that have been in place right away, the state does not provide any people, any contact person to provide such information. So the trader will be very less informed, and then when they want to seek any information in order to better understand about the new procedure, they cannot reach out to that person. They cannot reach out to the contact point or the inquiry point. So it's very important and also very mandatory for the member to create, okay, inquiry point or inquiry people or person, okay, in order to provide information to trader who want to seek any clarification on a measure. Okay, so it's very important, okay, to promote transparency in QR, okay, by creating inquiry point. Okay, what else? Some countries did not provide the measure to be reviewed by the trade policy review process. For example, when they create a new measure, but they did not put the measure into the questionnaire, okay, provided by the TPR, trade policy review body, sent to them before they went to have the review at the WTO. Okay, so they did not list the measure that they are gonna place, that they are gonna implement, or that they have already implemented. Okay, in the list. Okay, so the trade policy review body failed to understand the new measure. So when they fail to understand, fail to see, fail to hear the new measure, they will not be able to provide any recommendation or suggestion in order to improve the measure condition, the measure circumstances, for example. So it's very important for the country to also push or bring the measure to be put in place, or the measure that have been put in place, okay, to be reviewed by the trade policy review body. Okay, for example, next 2 year, the US is gonna have the new trade policy review on its trade policy. So the WTO trade policy review body will examine all the questions provided, or all the answer provided by the US with regard to the question submitted by the WTO to the US so far. So they will check the measure that the US listed in the questionnaire, okay, in the respondent questionnaire, okay, one by one, to know whether the measure of the US are actually very in line with or very in conformity with international trade law or not. Okay, so trade policy review process is very important and very trade promoting mechanism. Okay, since it's provide the very clear platform to ensure the high level of transparency when doing trade. Okay, so that is the important issues in the QR imposition, okay, on trade and gold. Okay, what else? It's about the requirement for uniform, impartial, reasonable administration of national trade measure. For example, when you apply any trade measure, it can be either in the ban, in quota, in prohibition, in restriction, or in import and export license. Your measure across Cambodia must be uniform. You cannot right now Cambodia impose an export license for the border checkpoint between Cambodia and Thailand. But what checkpoint, okay, between Cambodia and Vietnam, we did not apply such measure. Okay, so this kind of ununiform, okay, this kind of ununiform measure are also again international trade law, particularly with the principle, particularly with regards to the principle of the most favored nation, because you only apply at the border between Cambodia and Thailand, but not at the border between Cambodia and Vietnam. So make sure that it must be uniform, the measure, because the measure aren't subject to one product, for example, to bicycle. So the bicycle imported from Thailand to Cambodia must face the measure. So the bicycle imported from Vietnam to Cambodia must also face this kind of measure. Okay? So it must be uniform, just like school uniform. You all must wear uniform clothes, okay, in order to come in a right suit, okay, in a specific classroom, okay. So make sure that it is uniform, okay, it is the same, okay. For example, impartial, okay, make sure that when you administer your trade measure, it must be very fair. It must not be it must not be in a way of impartial, that you apply, you discriminate this or this certain trader while providing some favor to the other trader. So this kind of impartial treatment is also violating what we call national treatment principle, okay, provided under Article 3 of GATT, okay. And also reasonable administration. I have no any definition of the word reasonable, because the word reasonable here is very subjective, okay. I again, I have no any answer to the word reasonable, because, for example, the cow is beautiful, and they ask you why the cow is beautiful. You say that because the cow has very big muscle, the cow has a very good color, gold color, let's say that. The cow is very tall, and the cow is indeed very healthy. So I describe it as a very beautiful cow. But to other people' opinion, this kind of description of the cow is not right. Okay, it's not logical, it's not reasonable. So we have many different perspectives toward one thing. That is why I have no any idea with regards to the definition of the word reasonable here. Okay, so you have the right to define by yourself. But reasonable administration really refers to the administration that did not provide any logic. Okay, that did not the measure that are administered without any logic. Okay, without any enough reason. Okay, to prove trader, for example. Requirement for the procedure for the objective and yeah, quite the same regarding the administration of national custom rule. Yeah. So when you apply the national custom rule, okay, on any certain product imported from the foreign country into your country, make sure that it is actually objective and impartial. Okay, it is objective and impartial. It is based on Article 10, Part 3 of GATT 1947. We got a case between Thailand and EU. Okay, Thailand secret case 2011. Okay, the EU accused Thai custom officer of providing impartial, okay, administration of the national custom rule, custom duty. Why? Because the Thai authority, the Thai custom officer, decided to create a number of difficulty, okay, when they charge any custom or tax, okay, on the cigarette imported from EU, okay, and then EU tried to find the reason why the Thai officer, the Thai custom officer, are very, okay, make very difficult, okay, issue, okay, with regards to the imposition of tariff and tax, okay. And then later on, they found that the Thai officer that are working in the custom unit are the owner or are the board of director of the Thai cigarette making company. Yeah. So since he is profiting from the company in Thailand that produce cigarette, he decided to cause a lot of difficulty to the imports of cigarette from EU. And then EU found this is very impartial administration of national custom rule. So it decided to apply Article 10, Part 3 of GATT, okay, to challenge Thailand, okay, in 2011. Okay. So that is the case, a very realistic case that a country failed to provide very partial, a very impartial, okay, administration of custom rule, okay, because you are the officer, so you must be having no any business affiliation with any company that is being disputed, okay, that is creating that is producing the product at issue. For example, if you are right now imposing the if you are right now the owner or the board of director or the member of board of director of the company in Thailand that produce cigarette, you must not be coming to work for the custom to impose any measure on the cigarette import, because it will be a linkage between your personal benefit and the governmental work that you are performing. Okay, so you might cause a number of difficulty or hardship for the importer of the cigarette from EU to Thailand in order to ensure that the European cigarette will not enter Thai market, while Thai market will be completely sourced by the cigarette from that few people, okay, company, okay. So there is the realistic case with regards to the impartial review of the administration of national custom rule, okay. You got a point, guy? Got example? Hello? Anybody get example right here? Hello? Come on.
Teacher, I heard about the example, but I'm not sure about the impartial, teacher.
Okay, impartial mean let me find the right definition. Impartial in Khmer, đời mình đồng yên. So it is about providing a very fair, okay. You have to provide very fair administration of custom rule, okay. For example, if you are a custom officer, you must follow all the procedure that you have listed in your schedule of concession, schedule of commitment that apply to certain good and service. Okay, so if you are the custom officer, but you decided to create a number of obstacle or difficulty or unnecessary documentation for the importer of cigarette, okay, not to be able to import cigarette to Thailand very smoothly, because you believe that by doing so, your company that is right now producing cigarette in Thailand will be able to monopolize the market by supplying the cigarette in Thailand alone without giving any market margin for the foreign cigarette, okay, product from the EU. Okay, so this kind of impartial treatment, okay, impartial administration of the custom rule can also cause the unfair and arbitrary application of trade measure. Okay, that is why the EU, and that case 2011, EU won the case because the appellate board, the panel judge found that the Thai officer, the Thai government officer that were in charge of administering the custom and tax control or determination were the one that worked for the Thai cigarette producing company. So they came to regulate, they came to determine, okay, the charge on the cigarette import, while at the same time they are serving for the company that manufacture cigarette in Thailand to supply Thai domestic market. So this kind of partiality or people being because they have their own personal benefit from the company is not allowed. Okay, is not permissible under the WTO law. Okay, because it is about the impartial administration of national custom rule. Okay, between the foreign product and the treatment of your local product. Okay, it is actually enshrined under Article 10, Para 3 of GATT, Article 10, Para 3 of GATT 1947. The example is very easy. Don't worry, because it's about understanding the word impartial. In Khmer mình đồng yên. I don't know how to explain more, but you can understand by yourself when the word impartial is used. It means that it must be equal, it must be fair. Okay, not equal, but fair. Okay, equal is not understood as fair, because equal, for example, we don't care about the fairness or not, but we care about if you get one, I get one as well, even though I don't work. Okay, but fair means that if I work, I get one. If you don't work, you get zero. Okay, so impartial here makes sure that it is fair. Okay, it is fair. So when you are making something that is very partial, meaning that you take part. Okay, you are being a part of a party. Okay, so you are making something unfair. So impartial mean unfair. Oh, impartial mean fair, to make it simple. Okay, so in that case, EU won the case in 2011. Okay, I think very on the surface. Okay, not very much complicated. Okay.
Yes, teacher. And one more question, teacher.
Yeah,
What
yes.
is the about the lack of transparency? What does the inquiry point mean, teacher?
Okay, inquiry point means the point that provide information to trader. Okay, for example, if you go to Ministry of Commerce, you will see one inquiry point. One inquiry point, you refer to the place that consists of the people right there to provide you information in case that you need to know. For example, I want to know about the information on business administration, business registration in your ministry. Can you give me some information, some new law regulation? So our ministry must have one, at least one or two inquiry point, the point that provide answer to all inquiry, okay? Inquiry means question, okay? So in order to promote transparency in doing trade, all the government must create inquiry point at the custom border checkpoint in order to ensure that when trader face any difficulty with regards to the procedure or new regulation, new law, they can approach the people in the custom inquiry point, okay, to provide them information so that they can, okay, I will do this and that. I will need to fulfill this, to write this and complete this and that. Okay, so inquiry point is understood in this way, right? It is about the person that provide information to you when you need. Okay, it is not point is not about point guy. Okay, for example, the if you go to see all the FTA, you will see one article with regards to communication between two parties. We got one chapter for that, and if you go to read that article, they will say that each party must create their contact point. Okay, you do not call it contact person. They can also call it contact person, but normally we call it contact point. Contact point will refer to the person that provide the contacts for communication between the two parties. Okay, so inquiry point is quite the same. It's the people that provide all answer all information with regard to or corresponding to any question by the trader. Okay, are you clear now?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, very good. Okay, so I think this part is very easy. Don't worry, it's quite simple. But yes, here we also got other barrier, other barrier, the measure that cause the restriction to international trade. Okay, number 3 is custom formality and procedure. Okay, some custom formality, for example, if you want to pay the custom for your product, you need to fill this, you need to have signature, you need to write your name, put a photograph for multiple 6-side format, for example, and the photograph must be with a black background. For example, I still don't understand why Cambodian institutions provide different format or different backgrounds of photo requirement. Sometimes they are creating something very unnecessary, okay? Very stupid. Okay, so custom formality by providing a lot of complex or complicated formality or procedure can also cause delay at the border. For example, if I'm right now exporting perishable good or decay good. For example, I am right now exporting spinach, okay, and spinach can live or can remain fresh for only 1 day or 2 days or 2 nights, and in the fridge, refrigerator, okay, in the fridge, okay. So if okay, right now I transport my spinach product from the Cambodian community to the province to the border between Cambodia and Thailand because I wish to export to Thailand. But suddenly the customer officer said that, Mister, before you can export, before you can get your export license, okay, for the export of your spinach to Thailand, you need to fulfill this kind of requirement as following: first, this and that. We need one photo, this and that. So this kind of unnecessary requirement of documentation can actually cause delay at the border. And then how can you imagine? Can you imagine that? What if the custom procedure, custom formality here keep you 2 days, okay, or 3 days, okay, busy with that, fulfilling this, giving information on this and that? What about your spinach products that are stuck at the border? They are gonna be perished, okay? They are gonna be decay, okay? So when you export to Thailand, finally, it is not a high quality good. The good will be full of bacteria, okay? Because it is already decay, it is already perished, okay? It's no longer fresh as it was in the last 2 days. So this kind of very complicated and unnecessary custom formality and procedure cause delay at the border. That also cause the export restriction of spinach, for example. You got a point, guys?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. What about the rest? Are you fine with that?
Yes, like.
Okay, very good. Okay, apologize. I'm right now picking up one call from my friend. So welcome back. Okay, so I think you got a point with regards to the custom formality and procedure that cause delay at the border that will endanger the perishable good or decay good, for example, spinach or some other fresh vegetable. And yeah, also the other complicated and unnecessary documentation. For example, you need to print, you need to fill this, and then you have to copy within 2 or 3 versions. Okay, it must be one original and 2 or 3 copy. Okay, and the copy must be attached with your signature, original signature, even though it is the copy version, but you must sign on them. Okay, very complicated, very unnecessary. Okay, so why don't you use any automation system, for example? Why don't you just one click and then one fingerprint right away, then it will link to all information data right there? Why we need to fill one again, and when we export once again, we come to fill all information repetitively again? So this kind of very unnecessary documentation procedure can also cause the restriction to international trade. Okay? So that is why if you go to read trade facilitation agreement that entered into force in 2017, the very last agreement of the WTO, a very late, a very newest agreement of the WTO, TFA. I think some of you, if you used to work for any organization, because I think some of you are right now in year 4, and so you are, I know some of you are right now working for some IGO, some NGO, okay, that will be also working with the government, okay, especially in the fields of TFA, Trade Facilitation Agreement. You will know that this agreement is designed by the member of the WTO in order to provide very good platform to promote the smoothness, okay, to promote the uh, uh, facilitation for the conduct of trade. So they will reuse unnecessary documentation. They will, apply automation system, for example, bringing new technology in order to replace the handmade, okay, procedure. For example, you have to write this and that, but right now it is replaced by one click right away with fingerprint. So this kind of new automation system can actually reduce the times of procedure, can reduce the level of complexity of fulfilling any documentation procedure. Okay, so it's very important. Okay, it's very important to have a technology involved in the way of providing trade facilitation service, right? Yeah. And based on Article A, Para 1, Subpara C of GATT, they say that member recognize the need for minimizing the incident. Okay, so member recognize the need for minimizing the incident and complexity of import and export formality, and for decreasing and simplifying import and export documentation requirements. So you can see here, Article 8, okay, Para 1, Subpara C of GATT clearly, okay, urge the member, okay, to minimize any incident or to reduce any level of complexity of documentation, okay, and make sure that they are simple and user friendly. Okay, user friendly means every people can understand, every people can use it, okay, can complete it, okay, not really complicated, not really kind of hard to understand, all right? Yeah, and also agreement on trade facilitation, we call TFA, Trade Facilitation Agreement. That is the newest agreement of the WTO, only entered to force recently in February 2017. Okay, so Cambodia is also a member of that because we are a member of the WTO, and TFA here is the multilateral agreement that apply to all members out there. So right now we are obliged to provide a lot of support to the trader, okay, by providing them, for example, automation in custom procedure, custom clearance, okay, transportation, logistic support, for example. This kind of activity are, of course, the very core pillar, the very core component, okay, of trade facilitation agreement of the WTO. Okay. Previously, we have no enough road transport for transporting goods. For example, our roads are kind of very sluggish. Okay, we have very kind of very bad condition on the road. So right now, with the new support from China, with the new support from many international donor or development partner, we got so much financial fund, okay, to construct, to re-innovate our road, to provide further facilitation and further comfortability for trader to transport a good from province to province, from city to city, and also from Cambodia to the rest of the world. Okay, and our flight, we are also right now expanding our flight, either outbound and inbound. Okay, I think Cambodia is also planning to have the one direct flight from Cambridge to Russia. Okay, but I'm not quite sure whether it's going to be possible or not because it's very far anyway, and we have no any high capacity airplane carrier. For example, we have no big Boeing, big Airbus like the other country like Thailand. So it's very hard to imagine that we can fly directly from Cambridge to Russia. But if we can do so, trust me, it will be a very good opportunity for us to export and import goods from and to Russia because we're gonna have air transportation of goods. Okay, but right now, if you want to import and export something to and from Russia, you need to use shipment that will span, for example, 1 week or longer than that. Okay, to have your good delivered to your home. Okay, so it's very time consuming and also resource consuming. So if you have fly, okay, it can also promote that the facilitation of international trade between country and country who are the member of the WTO. Okay, sorry, guy. Hello, hello.
Sorry, teacher, you forget to unmute.
Okay, can you hear me now? Right now?
Yes,
Hello, guys.
yes.
Okay, okay, very good. Okay, so the other measure that I consider as the restriction to international trade, either import and export, is government procurement. What do you mean by the word government procurement? Anybody used to hear this kind of word in Khmer version? In Khmer, we call it Latakam Sathina. Latakam Sathina, procurement means Latakam. It means that the government will purchase something for a governmental purpose, right? So in this way, in this sense, the government has the freedom, has the right to purchase any good, whether domestically be used or overseas be used, or foreign to use. Okay, the government has the right to determine. Okay, so if the government only purchase locally produced good, for example, the government decided to purchase only the uh, locally produced cement, okay, in order to build the government building, the new construction. The foreign country that export cement to Cambodia cannot file complaint against Cambodian government because here the government only purchase its own locally produced cement, okay, to build governmental building, governmental construction, okay, office, for example. So this kind of practice is actually allowed under the government procurement law of WTO, government procurement agreement. Okay, so this kind of practice can also cause the restriction to international trade because when you want to export something to foreign country and then you want to target the government because you believe that the government will need so much, okay, but suddenly the government decided not to buy your product because the government has the right to buy some other the same product from other destination, from other sources, because that is not for commercial benefit of the government, but the government buy in order to certify the government work, okay, the government public service. Okay. I think yesterday we got a very good news for Laos. Laos just got a very railway connection between Laos and a province of China. Yeah, I think you saw on the news. We have to congratulate our neighbor anyway. But imagine that you are a Japanese company and you want to provide the railway support, okay, to Lao government. Okay, for example, Lao, right? Today I talked with the Lao government, and then the Lao government uh, uh, proposed that the Japanese company can bring new technology of railway to Lao, and Lao will consider purchasing the service or the railway product from Japan to install in Lao. But suddenly Lao decided to buy or to get the product or the railway technology completely from China with the Chinese support and also with the low price provided by the Chinese company for the certain technology of railway. So Japanese company who wish to export this kind of technology to Laos to target Lao government for their purchase from the Japanese company cannot file a complaint against Lao because Lao is allowed. I mean, Lao government is allowed or is permitted by WTO governmental procurement law to purchase whatever source of product in order to only serve the public good, public services that belongs to the government. But if you instruct the other company or your own people to buy only your own product, to buy only the product from China, not from Japan, you violate international trade law. But if you only buy for your own commercial, for your own governmental purpose, for example, to build public work, to build public construction, to build governmental building, to build governmental office, the other country cannot file complaint against you. It is the right, it is the autonomy of the government to purchase whatever source of item or product they want to, as long as it is for the governmental purpose, not for commercial or private benefits. So that is also a legal restriction to international trade. I think I do not support this kind of international trade law. I mean, government procurement law, because it will provide the discrimination by the government against foreign good. For example, they want to only buy the good produced from China, not to buy the good produced from Japan, because they believe that China can sell cheaper product to Cambodia, then we can use it in order to build our governmental building, and Japanese product are so expensive, EU product are so expensive, so we ignore, and the other country cannot file complaint against us. That is not a good practice. But however, it is allowed under WTO law, government procurement agreement here. And Article 3 of GATT, national treatment, they also said that national treatment, Article 3 of GATT, does not apply to law, regulation, and requirement governing government procurement. You can see here, Article 3 of GATT regarding national treatment state clearly that it does not apply to the law, regulation, or requirement with regards to the government procurement, because the government procurement is the act of buying something for only governmental purpose, not for commercial benefit, not for private benefits. Not like the people like us, like you, like me. We buy something for our own personal benefit, for our commercial benefit. We want to buy and then we want to resell to get benefit. That is actually must be under the international trade law when it trade between two countries. But here the government procurement allowed the government to buy whatever source of product or item, as long as they want to use like item and product to serve the governmental purpose, objective. So you got a point of the government procurement law here, guys?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. So it's permissible, right? It's not against international trade law, to make it clear. Do not be confused that when the government buys certain source of import or of product or item, they violate international trade law because they violate what we call most favored nation or national treatment principle as underlined in Article 1 and 3 of GATT. No, it is permissible. It is legal to do so under Article 3. No, under Article the provision of the general procurement law or general procurement agreement of the WTO. There are also other major actions that constitute the barrier or restriction to international trade. For example, what are they? Pre-shipment inspection. So before you ship your product to the foreign country, you are required to have your product inspected by our authority to know whether your product qualify any technical standard or not. So this kind of requirement to have pre-shipment inspection for your good before exporting to the foreign country is actually causing restriction to international trade. That is why it is not encouraged by the WTO for the member to apply as such. Rule of origin. For example, you want to export your good to the foreign country, but suddenly your product are found to fail to satisfy the origin requirement. For example, the EU want to assure that your product, the product from Cambodia must be made in Cambodia by 40% of the overall component. So you thought that your product are qualified because you believe that your product is 40% produced by the Cambodia in Cambodia, but when you export, the EU found that no, it is not right, because we examined and then we investigate. We found that the product is not produced by Cambodian and not produced in Cambodia. Even though it's in Cambodia, but not by Cambodian and not by in Cambodian factory. It is by Chinese and by Chinese inside Chinese factory. Just like the case of mattress in Senuk as well, that the US accusers of providing market for Chinese company to be used and then put the name as made in Cambodia and then export to US under the GSP scheme. So EU did the same thing. So a rule of origin here is also a very important restriction to international trade. Okay, to international trade. It is not like you when you want to buy, when you are online seller. Okay, you buy one good from this person, then you resell the good to the other person. Okay? You resell the good to the other person. But in international trade, when you buy the good from this country, and then you made it into US. Okay, just change the name. Change the names, take it right there. Okay, just like if you bought a T-shirt from Thailand, and then you want to export to EU to enjoy duty-free, quota-free market access under eBay scheme. So you decided to remove the name tag, the origin tag right here from the shirt, and then remove from made in Thailand to made in Cambodia, and then export to EU for the benefit of duty-free, quota-free market access under eBay scheme. EU found that you did not certify the rule of origin because you only bought from Thailand and then change the tag, change the description right here, made in Cambodia, and made in Thailand to made in Cambodia. So you did not make it wholly be used or wholly innovated in Cambodia to reach the component of 40% as required by the scheme. So you cannot export to EU. So it is also a form of import and export restriction from a rule of origin. Okay, so you got a point. You got all here, all here, right?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Transit speed, transit shipment. Okay, it's very complicated. I don't want to touch on that because it's a very long agreement and it involve many passengers. For example, if you want to, for example, in Vietnam right now. Okay, guy, I tell you one story that I got engaged last week, and we already dropped the letter respond to Minister of Trade and Industry of Vietnam. You know what happened? Vietnam just created a new regulation early 2020 or late 2020. And then it said that the regulation will be in effect in January 2022. Okay, next 2 years, for example, or next 1 year. Okay, and what happened? In the regulation, the new regulation by Ho Chi Minh City government. Okay, because it is the in I don't know how to call this kind of system in Vietnam, but one city, one province is quite autonomous. Okay, in Vietnam. Okay, the law said that before any good, okay, that is imported from one country, okay, and then transit through Vietnam, okay. So before that, good could transit from Vietnam to the third country, like from China to Vietnam, then Vietnam to Cambodia, because we have no border with China. So we need to use Vietnam as the transit point. So before the good that is imported from China and then transit in Vietnam can move to the final destination in Cambodia, they must face the procedure of transit shipment. For example, you need to fill this form whether your good is actually tax declare is needing any tax declaration, whether your good need to check the qualification again, whether your good needs to check the storage system again, whether it needs to change the barcode. So this kind of inspection during the transit of good, okay, is also causing the barrier to international trade. It causes delay. It causes headache. Okay? It causes some more complexity. Okay, that will render, okay, that will cause the traders to be less motivated to be I don't know how to say, but they might lose income, they might lose time, okay, because of the very complicated procedure with regards to the transit shipment right here. State-owned enterprise, okay, state-owned enterprise means enterprise that is owned by state and then force the foreign company to transfer technology. In the case of China, Mr. Donald Trump, when he was in power from 2016 to 2020, Mr. Donald Trump has used China of having SOE right here, state-owned enterprise. They believe that, I mean, the U.S. under Donald Trump administration accused that China, the Chinese enterprise, okay, that incorporate with American company in China and Beijing, okay, were behind or were supported by Chinese government, were owned by Chinese government behind the scenes. And then the company always forced American and the foreign company to transfer their technology to the Chinese company in order to advance the industrial revolution in China, and then right now China 4G, 5G technology is very advancing again in the US. So because of the practice of asking the foreign company to transfer technology to China company, because the Chinese company are mostly state-owned, owned by state, enterprise, state-owned enterprise. So this is also causing the barrier to international trade because it is unfair. You can see the case of trade war between the US and China is also originated from what we call state-owned enterprise practice by China, and then it was found by the US of competing as such. TRIM, trade-related investment measure. I mean, the measure on investment related to trade. For example, investor. Before investor, you can come to invest in Cambodia, right? But before you can invest, you have to make sure that you are only investing for import and export, or for export, not coming to invest and then support in Cambodian market, because we don't want our market to be occupied by your product. So you can come to invest here, but when you finish investing, you must export the good right there. Go to the foreign country, the third destination. Do not come to be used here and then supply in Cambodia, because otherwise other company in Cambodia to produce such kind of product will not be able to acquire the market in Cambodia. So you can produce here indeed, but you must export to the foreign country for export supply, for foreign supply, not here. So this is called the measure on investment related to trade, because it is about investment right here and then trade right here, export. Okay, you got a point, guys? All right.
Teacher, about the
Yes,
trade,
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
that means that one country can invest in other country, but they have to export
Yes.
out
They have
of
to
the
export.
country.
Yeah. You
Oh.
cannot come to invest right here and then supply right here. Guy, do you know that? Do you go to Baobab? Have anybody been to Baobab? You go to see the factory there. They produce Nike, they produce Adidas, they produce many well-known brand of items, shoe, textile, and so on. But they are not sold in Cambodia, guy. They are not allowed to be sold in Cambodia. And if any guy, for example, stole the product from the company and then sell in the market, for example, okay, I sell in Swai, I sell in Bantim and J in Preveng, without letting my company director know. But when they found that you are right now selling or stealing the product from the factory and then distribute it in Cambodia, you are gonna be facing legal consequences, because that company is not allowed to distribute the product in Cambodia. But you can only use Cambodia as the origin, of production, so we can get employment opportunity. But you must supply this kind of product to the foreign country, to the foreign countries. I want to tell you that Cambodia ranked number 2 in production of bicycle in the world. You might not believe why is Cambodia a very small country? Why we are ranking number 2 in terms of productions of bicycle? Just follow Taiwan. Go to check Google. Go to check information. Go to check bicycle website. You will see that Cambodia ranked number 2. Ranked number 2. And I went to the bicycle production site in Baobab fighting already. I found that the assembly line of the productions of bicycle is very stunning. It's very kind of surprising me, because I couldn't believe that it is made in Cambodia. A lot of very good bicycle, very decorative bicycle that are subject to be exported to EU, for example, in Belgium, in France, in Italy, are produced in Cambodia right here. So I was so shocked in 2017 when I was going to have inspection at the factory to evaluate their production process in order to report to the US, because the US ABC wish to know about the activity of production site in Cambodia in order to ensure that they are not owned by Chinese. And then we did inspection for them. And then, I was so shocked anyway. Personally, I was so shocked. I couldn't believe that it is made in Cambodia and that we are ranking number 2 in terms of export of bicycle to many parts of the world, especially in the EU, under the EBA scheme, export duty-free, quota-free. So that is called TRIM, trade-related investment measure. It's about the semi-connection between investment and trade together, regarding the measure right here. Exchange control or exchange restriction, for example, you can invest in Cambodia, you can trade with Cambodia, but it must be the Cambodian currency. So the government control the way of exchanging rate. For example, you can exchange, for example, if you want to export something to China or from China, let's say that, it must be from yuan. Okay, you cannot use US dollar to buy. Okay, you can use, but indeed you need to exchange. Okay? You need to exchange into yuan. Okay, at least by using online exchanging system. Okay, for example, I don't know how to explain, but you can imagine by yourself. Okay, it's about the requirement to exchange into national currency of the country of origin of the product. And then if the government control the rate of exchange of currency, you are going to be the one that will be the victim, because the government can determine whatever rate they want to. Okay, for example, the National Bank of Cambodia decided to limit that the rates of $1 must be 4,100 real. Okay, but the next day the government decided to increase the rate from 4,100 real to 4,200 real. Okay, and then making a dollar even more expensive. Okay, so this kind of rate exchange that is controlled by the government is also kind of restricting international trade. I think you know quite well, and I'm sorry that I went too far, because I have to make it faster, and then we can leave earlier. I have another assignment, another important assignment, okay, because it's gonna be in that line on Monday next week. The policy for my account on my ministry for FTA negotiation. Okay. Let us move on. So we right now finish almost all parts of trade in good. Okay, we talk a lot about the QO on trade in good, and I think you know quite well about not that well, but at least it is some. There are some instant. There are some. There's some lights for you to know what does it mean by trim, what does it mean by ROO, what does it mean by shipment inspection and exchange control, transit shipment, and so on. Okay, regarding the case of Vietnam that I just mentioned a moment ago, Vietnamese government require all trader that transit to go through Vietnam, from China to Cambodia, from Australia to Cambodia, from Cambodia to from Vietnam, from China to Laos, for example, from Australia to Laos, that go through Vietnam, must pay the seaport cost, because we transit through Vietnam. Okay, so you must pay the fee of using the service provided by the seaport, the newly established seaport in Vietnam, because Vietnam just created that port that cost more than 100 million US dollar, and then Vietnamese the government want to get income, okay, for remunerating that port cost. Okay, so it decided to create a new regulation that require all trader to pay the fee of using the port. But it is again many provision, again 7 provision. Okay, again TFA agreement, again CMBT agreement, again ASEAN TFA agreement, again Cambodia Vietnam trade in gold transit agreement. Okay, again yeah, there are 7 provisions that Vietnam has been found violating. Okay, and we already wrote our letter, and then our letter we said that if you did not revoke your regulation on the requirement to pay the fee to the seaport, we might consider bringing the case to the regional and international level. Okay, before that, we are not quite sure about the possible response from Vietnam, but we believe that it will revoke, it will withdraw it resolution. Okay, because we already examined that, we found that there are many violations. 7 provisions were violated. Okay, so that is the advantage of studying international trade law. You can see a lot of logistic association member, a lot of logistic company came to the government, came to Cambodia, came to us. Okay, because they are required to pay the fee to the seaport used in Vietnam. Okay, but under TFA, the member of TFA, Trade Facilitation Agreement of WTO, are not required to take any fee for the use of transport that does not provide any extra service beyond trade. Okay, that is TFA agreement, Article 16. Okay, yes, that is the advantage of you studying international trade. At least our neighbor know that we are not that stupid. Okay, we point at the law that Vietnam has violated. 7 or 8 provisions, you can imagine. It's very serious, and I believe that Vietnam will revoke the resolution, that resolution in it. I forgot a number, but it is the resolution. So let us see whether we're gonna win the case or not. Okay, but if Vietnam further the case to the regional and global level, we will prepare another stage. Okay, but right now at the bilateral stage, we did our best so far. Okay, protect our Cambodian interest. Okay. Okay, this one is very important, guys. It's very update right now, and everybody is right now talking about service. For example, I'm right now standing right here in order to provide teaching service to you guys. I do not provide you good. I don't provide you any iPhone, any any aircon, okay, any earphone, for example. But I provide you teaching service. Do we have tariff on service? No, we have no tariff on service, but we have non-tariff barrier on service. And I'm gonna explain to you what does it mean by the non-tariff barrier on service? Because service is intangible. Service is something you cannot touch, you cannot see, you cannot feel, but you can get the benefit, you can get the sense of it. I'm teaching, you cannot feel, you cannot see. I'm teaching, you can only see my action, okay? But what do you mean by the word teaching? Can you see the letter from my mouth flying around on the screen? No. So you cannot impose any tax or any tariff on my voice, okay? On my level of explanation. Okay? It must be regulation. It must be about non-tariff barrier, non-tariff measure that will be imposed on my performance of service. And I'm gonna explain to you what does it mean by non-tariff measure, non-tariff barrier on trade and service. WTO law allow members to regulate their own internal law, okay, as the barrier to trade and service for good reason. First, consumer protection. Second, public health. And third, safety. Okay. That is underlying under the preamble of the GATT, General Agreement on Trade in Service. Okay. So GATT, G-A-T-T, General Agreement on Trade on Tariff and Trade, only deal with goods from 1947 up until now. But we got a new version of law we call GATT, not new version, but the new law in addition to GATT 1947. The new law is General Agreement on Trade and in Service. Okay, so the preamble here allow the member to regulate their own international law. We don't force the member. We do not allow the member to create any extra tariff, extra tax on service, but we allow them to create internal law, internal regulation in order to put the restriction on the performance of trade and service. Why? Consumer protection, okay, public health, okay, and safety. For example, if you the government decided to create a new law that will not allow the import of the imports of the let's say uh, wrestling, okay, wrestling service, okay, Asivakam or Kelakah, okay. We got WrestleMania, WWE entertainment, or yeah. We when I was a kid, I was very addicted to the wrestling, yeah, wrestling. Yeah. So the government decided to ban the import of wrestling service to Cambodia because they believe that if we allow the Cambodian people to get this kind of service, there will be so many wrestlers in Cambodia. Just like small guy decided to go to gym every day just to get big muscle in order to join the wrestling competition in Cambodia. The new service aided by the US or funded or owned by the US or American people who are allowed to perform this kind of service in Cambodia. So the government created a new law that will not allow the imports of this kind of service in Cambodia because we want to protect our consumer, our user of this kind of service. Okay, what happen if for example, if the kid, are addicted to wrestle and then they decided to join the wrestle as well by fighting in the field, fighting in school. So all wrestler, okay, in class right there, right now, okay. So we cannot imagine this. It's very dangerous for the consumer. Okay. Apologize, guys. I need to go downstairs just like 2 minutes to open the door for my brothers. Thank you. All right, guys. So welcome back. So can you hear me now?
Yes, teacher.
All right. Okay. Yes, I just talk about the preamble. Yeah, the government is allowed by the WTO law to create any internal regulation or internal procedure, okay, to impose the barrier on trade and service in order to protect their consumer, in order to protect public health, and also to promote safety, okay. And in trade and good, we don't define a word major barrier, okay, but we put it as the QO, okay. We put it as the ban, prohibition, restriction, quota, okay. We have no clear definition of the word major, okay. The same for trade and service. We have no definition of market access barrier. What do you mean by the word barrier, okay? Barrier, because there are so many barriers, okay, that are considered as the restriction to the trade and service, because the barrier are updated every day, okay? Because service are updated every day, okay? Service might be today we got 100 service in Cambodia, but who know that tomorrow we got new service, okay? You can see previously we had no any, a special cargo that transport the service patient to Thai hospital at night by using air cargo, by using a small airplane, a special private jet. Okay, but right now we got two ladies that right now jointly. Anybody know that company? Anybody know the two ladies that create a big company that will transport the serious patient in Cambodia to get treatment in Thailand either at night or at any time that they wish to by using private jet? Anybody know this company? Used to hear, used to see? All right.
No, Chair.
Okay, you can check it out. I forgot, but right now the two ladies who are the doctor of the very wealthy tycoon in Cambodia, they jointly collaborated creating a company that will transport the very serious patient in Cambodia, the rich people who are very seriously ill, to have very immediate treatment in Thailand by using private jet. Okay, so this kind of service was not available in Cambodia in the last 5 years, but right now it is available. So you can see service is updated every day. In the past, we have no nail cleaning service, but right now a lot of Vietnamese lady are right now performing nail cleaning service in many states across the US. So this kind of service needs to be regulated. Okay, need to be regulated in order to protect consumer. Okay, to protect consumer. Okay. So again, because the barrier of market access is not defined under any provision of GATT agreement. Okay, GATT provide exhaustive list of measures. Okay, GATT provide exhaustive list of measures. I mean, it provide a very clear list of the measure. But the list is right now updated. I'm gonna tell you what is the updated version. Okay, updated version. Okay. Article 16, para 2, subpara A to subpara I of GATT, General Agreement on Trade and Service, put five information right there. First, the number of service supplier. It must be listed how many supplies. If you want to export your service to Cambodia, what is the number of service supplier? How many people that will supply the service in my country for that kind of service? Okay, the volume of service transaction. How much that you will take, okay, for the fee of getting that service? Okay, number of service operation. Okay, how many company that will join, okay, your service operation? Okay, number of natural person. How many people that will be employed by your service company? Okay, and amounts of foreign capital. How much money that you are willing to invest in your service company in Cambodia? Okay, so this kind of information must be provided by the importer or exporter of service, okay, before they can actually get a service license in Cambodia. Okay, for example, if you want to get the medical service, if you want to create a medical service operation in Cambodia, let's say that you want to create a hospital, you need to answer the question right here. How many service supplier, how much that you are willing to get from one treatment, okay, the number of operation, and how many people that you will be employing in your certain operator, and how much money that you are willing to invest in your service supplier right here. Okay. So There is information that is very important and required for the trader to fulfill, for the government to know before they decide to allow whether you can perform this kind of service or not. What are the rules that govern the service negotiation? Okay, so we got some rule here. We got a rule article. What article? This is 19, right? Yeah, Article 19, para 1 of GATT said that. Okay. Wait. Okay. Service negotiation is the way of trying to have reduction and or elimination of the adverse effect on trade and service of the measure as a mean of providing effective market. អញ្ចឹង in ខ្មែរបានន័យថាការចរចាពាណិជ្ជកម្មលើសេវាកម្មគឺសំដៅទៅលើការកាត់បន្ថយឬក៏ការលុបបំបាត់នៅផលប៉ះពាល់ទាំងឡាយណាដែលកើតចេញមកពី measure ទៅលើ service មួយចំនួនដើម្បីធានាថាប្រទេសហ្នឹងគឺផ្ដល់ឲ្យនៅទីផ្សារត្រឹមត្រូវទីផ្សារដែលមានប្រសិទ្ធភាពសម្រាប់ឲ្យអ្នកដែលបំពេញសេវាកម្មហ្នឹងអាចបំពេញបាន okay. And quite the same as the trade in good, the trade in service is also undertaken by the way of give and take. I mean, the way of negotiation in trade and service is also the same as trade in good. It must be about give and take. I give you, I give to you, you take to me. Okay. I give to you and I take from you as well. Okay. Give and take. I cannot just I take from you and then I did not give anything to you. No. In trade negotiation, it must be lying in the principle of reciprocity, meaning that I give and I take. We must be giving and then getting as well. We cannot just give and then get. We cannot just get without giving. Okay, and when you negotiate in service, okay, you don't just like, okay, I want to talk with you right now. I want you to open this kind of service for me, and I can open this kind of service for you, okay, in return. It is not about face-to-face negotiation like this. It is, of course, about the face-to-face negotiation, but it is not that easy as this. Why? It must be coming through procedure. The first one is you have to submit your request, okay, your request, your letter, okay. For example, if you want, let's say that the case of Cambodia, South Korea FTA that we just concluded, that we just signed on 26 October 2021 right here. Before South Korea got to open some market for our service supply, for example, banking or education in South Korea from Cambodia. Okay. South Korea got a list later, okay, later of service that Cambodia has formed in order to request South Korea to consider, and then the later consists of many service inside, and then South Korea will examine the service sector one by one, and then check in South Korea with their own authority that are relevant to the service supply. Okay, and then for example, if Cambodia requests service in medical treatment, South Korea will talk to the Ministry of Health to provide any decision whether South Korea should open the service in health treatment for Cambodia to perform health treatment in South Korea or not. Okay, so we provide a letter, we send them the letter of request, and then, okay, South Korea, what will South Korea do? South Korea will not send a letter of acceptance, okay, to us in Khmer. សំណើនឹងស្វីការ សំណើ mean request, okay, ដល់ពេល offer គឺស្វីការ okay. អញ្ចឹង in service you send a letter and you cannot expect a return of a new letter, response letter from the other counterpart, but you will see their schedule of commitment. In good, we have schedule of concession. If you want to know how much percent that has been imposed on certain good, you need to go to check at the schedule of concession of Cambodia that Cambodia has deposited, that Cambodia has submitted to the WTO. You will see there, everything is there. And we will update regularly depending on negotiation. But in trade and service, quite the same. You give them the letter, listing a number of service that you wish to have the other counterpart open for you, okay? And then when they decide in any manner, they will not send back the letter to you. We have no any response letter on service offer or something, but they will put the service that we requested. Let's say that if South Korea accepted Cambodia request, okay, to open banking service sector in South Korea, and then Cambodia can actually allow it Ekleda banking, ABA banking to operate in South Korea without any condition, without any barrier. Okay, so if South Korea want to open, okay, market access for banking system from Cambodia to South Korea, South Korea will not get back with the response letter to Cambodia, but South Korea will list that service and then put none, okay, mean no limitation, okay, in its schedule of commitment, okay, but only for Cambodia in case that the two countries sign FTA, bilateral FTA. But if Cambodia submit and the rest of the other countries submit, and then South Korea decide anyway, it will actually submit in its own schedule of commitment to WTO. And then you do not need to, okay, South Korea, give me back your response later whether you decide on any manner with my on my letter of request. Do not expect this. You need to go to see the South Korea announcement that it has submitted to WTO, and then check its schedule of commitment whether South Korea has already given what you requested or not. Okay, but I think you know already, because before they submit this kind of schedule of commitment to the WTO, they already confirmed to you whether South Korea consider or agreed to accept this service offer, service request, for example. So schedule of commitment is a very integral part of trade and service. If you want to know which service that has been opened by any member of the WTO, go to check the schedule of commitment of that member that has submitted to WTO. Okay, quite the same as trade in gold, that we have trade service schedule, but this that we have a schedule of concession, but this one we have schedule of commitment, because service is not about concession, giving tariff or something. It is about commitment to open. Okay, commitment is not like concession. Concession means giving no preference. Okay, having no preference, imposing zero tariff rate, for example, imposing no fee, no charge. But here it's not about fee, charge, or tariff, because service we have no tariff. It is about commitment to open. Okay, no regulation to impose the barrier on the performance of service by the foreign country. Okay? So that is the way of negotiating trade in service. Yeah. And Article 16, 19, Para 2 of GATT require the consideration of the national policy objective and the level of economic development of the individual member. So if the party are between, let's say, poor state and rich state like Cambodia and China, Cambodia and South Korea, Article 19 here requires South Korea or China to consider providing a lot of higher commitment, okay, to Cambodia, because Cambodia is poorer. Okay, so they require South Korea and China to consider highly the national policy objective of Cambodia, and also the level of national development of Cambodia compared to South Korea, compared to China. That is the preferential provision for LDC, because when we join negotiation with the powerful country, we are always allowed, okay, to have some preference, because they urge the rich country, the more advanced country, to provide consideration, okay, on our national policy objective, and also the level of development of our national individual member. Okay. And from 16 onward, it is not about the individual request from Cambodia anymore, but LDC form together and then submit the request to South Korea, submit the request to rich state. Okay. So we don't act individually anymore, but right now from 2016 onward, the member of WTO decided to use collective platform. If you are a poor state, come as a poor group. If you are LDC state, come as the LDC group, and then submit a single request. Okay? Because they believe that LDC group will have very similar intention, similar objective, and it make negotiation easier and more uniform, not sporadic. Okay, this one and that one have to talk every day with new delegate from new members that know. Here we only talk collectively with a group of LDC, a group of poor, a group of rich. Okay, so this is called collective request in trade and service. Okay. Schedule of specific commitment. Guys, you're gonna see very important part of the lecture today. Okay, I have no, I will not have any break today. I'm gonna go straight, and then we will finish earlier soon, maybe next 30 minutes or something, we can leave. Are you okay with that? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Okay. This is very interesting part, and then you will want to know more. Trust me, you will want to know more, because you will know why Chinese people are right now expelled from saying, well, why VOA has been closed, has been expelled from Cambodia regarding, the VOA office and AFA office, Radio Free Asia, why the office has been right now expelled from Cambodia. Okay, why the foreigner cannot provide any service to Cambodia? You will see, and you will understand why we do this kind of action. Okay, to solve the solution of Chinese people in Senegal and many more. Why online gambling is right now expelled from Cambodia, not allowed anymore? Gambling is a service, guy. Gambling is not a good. Okay, it's not a good. Okay, it is online. Okay, okay. So contents of the schedule. I don't explain here because I will explain you in the chart next. Okay, we got horizontal and sectoral commitment, but don't worry. Okay, and there are 12 sector in service schedule. Right? There are 12 sector in service schedule. First, business service. For example, you want to provide BOP, business outsourcing service. For example, you can provide consultancy service. You can provide marketing service. Okay, so that is all under the sector of business service. Communication service. You can provide, for example, a Russian company want to provide a telecommunication service in Cambodia by creating what we call RAS. Let's say that Rasitel. Imagine, just imagine Rasitel mobile company in Cambodia. It is owned by Russian people. Okay. So if Cambodia open communication service for the foreigner, a lot of Mobitel, a lot of mobile company from foreign country will come to operate to perform service in Cambodia. Right now, I'm not quite sure whether we open or not, but a lot of mobile company in Cambodia are mostly foreign, including Mobitel, including Smart, and also Macphone, Macphone. It is of course owned by the tycoon in Cambodia like Ông Nhà Kịch Mê, but you will see why they are forced to join hand, to join association with the Cambodian company, with the Cambodian tycoon, not completely owned by the foreigner. Okay. Construction. Okay. For example, you want to provide some construction service. If you want to build condo, if you want to build house, you need to hire foreign expert to provide this kind of construction service to you. No need to hire Cambodian construction worker. They are very slow. They are very lazy. Let's say, imagine. Okay. So we can also get the construction in engineering service. Okay. Distribution. Okay. For example, you want to have one product delivered from one place to another. Use the foreign express, for example. Okay. Express company, a cargo company. Okay. Education. Okay. For example, the foreign school are right now allocated in Cambodia. Let's say that American University in Phnom Penh. Okay. And many more schools that are owned by foreigner are right now also operating in Cambodia. Okay. Environment. Okay. What is the environmental service? Okay. For example, clearing. Okay. The waste system. Okay. Clearing the sewage. Okay. Sewage as EWAG. Okay. AGE. Okay. So clearing the sewage, clearing the waste system is right now performed by a Japanese company. Okay, it is environmental related service. Okay, what else? Providing environmental impact assessment for any company. You can also hire foreign expert too, because you don't believe in Cambodian local expert. They always say that the company is right to do so. It does not cause the environmental impact. Okay, anything you can pollute, you can know. They do not trust Cambodian assessor or Cambodian expert. So they decided to hire foreign experts who are able to provide a very credible and accurate environmental impact assessment. Why environmental impact assessment is so important for a company? If a company produce something, okay, and if you want to export to the EU, duty-free, quota-free, without having to pay any tariff, you need to prove that your production does not harm environment. Okay. So what is the proof? The actual size of your operation, and second one, the environmental impact assessment, EIA. So if the EIA has been assessed, has been made by Cambodian expert, and then if you prove to EU said, I do not believe in the works of the Cambodian expert, because I believe that they always say something positive about your company operation. So I rely on the foreign expert that can provide you EIA. So this company will hire. For example, if the government of Cambodia allow the environmental service open, okay, under the WTO law, Cambodian company who wish to export duty-free, quota-free to EU, enjoy EBA scheme, will hire EIA expert from EU. Okay, and then if the EIA expert from EU assess the environmental impact assessment of that company and then found that everything is positive, you can proceed. And if one day EU accuse you that your operation, your company operation destroy environment, you can prove here. My EIA has been already made by the European experts. So why don't you recognize your own people? Well, they already said that my company can proceed without causing any harm to the environment. And right now we are doing it, and then we are exporting our product, our end product to you. And then you say that our environment, our product is coming at the expense of environmental pollution. So what about your EIA, environmental impact assessment done by your own people, your own expert? You don't believe your group, you don't believe your people. So EIA is a very important guy. Some of you might not hear this word so far, but hopefully today you know that EIA is very important under EBA scheme, because if you want to get your product export to EU EBA under EBA scheme, you need to satisfy the requirement of all the 15 convention, okay, under the EBA regulation 978/2012, okay, 2012, okay. We have 15 convention, and we also have one convention included, which is about environmental protection, okay. So if you want to have your product export to EU duty-free, quota-free under the EBA scheme, your product must not violate any environmental pollution provision, okay. So you need to secure one EIA from European expert. You got a point? Okay.
Yes, teacher.
Yeah. It happened in Cambodia, guy. Not an example, but it is actually the case in Cambodia. We got so many companies that right now wishing to asking the government to open the service on EIA here, on environment here, so they can actually hire foreign expert to give environmental impact assessment for the company before they can be used. Manufacture, okay. Manufacture. Finance. What do you mean by finance system? Finance service. Banking, okay. Right now, we got so many international banking systems service provided in Cambodia by the foreigner. Let's say that ABA, I think it is not owned by Cambodia. Let's say that Maybank, it is by Malaysia. What else? NZ Royal or JJ Trust, okay, by Japan, okay. ITB, okay. Only a few that are owned by Cambodia. First is Canaria, and second one is Akleda, okay, and Stapana, and so on, very newly owned, but very big banking system, banking operator in Cambodia are mostly foreigner owned by foreigner. It means that the government has already opened the finance service, okay, to under the WTO, okay. So the foreign trader who wish to perform banking service, install the service in Cambodia, we can come here, okay. Yeah. So there are many more, guys. Underneath right here, you can see transport, recreation, culture, sport, tourism, travel, and other services that are not specified elsewhere. Okay. So these are the 12 services that are available under the trade in service commitment. Okay. And in good, in order to know the specification of good, in order to accurately impose the tariff on good, we need to use the 8S code, harmonization system code. You cannot take the product and then ask them how much is the papaya liable for the custom duty. No, we don't say papaya. We say how much does it cost for the fee of this product code 3041. So in good, we use 8S code, harmonization system code, to make it easier for the custom officer to identify the types of good. In service, quite the same, but we don't use 8S code. We use CPC code. CPC code is the code, a classification of the product. We call it Central Product Classification that is made by United Nations. So we refer to the code for the service, not the name of service, but the code of service, because it will be used in computer system. For example, if you wish to import banking system and a banking service, and then banking service is coded in like 2, 3, 4, 5, they will just click 2, 3, 4, 5 service, and then they will see banking service right there. No need to type banking and then put comma. So if one comma incorrect, okay, it will not create any result information. So coding is the best way. Coding is the best way, and that's why we use Central Product Classification as the way of coding the service. Okay, coding the service. Okay. Very important. Okay, service schedule has 4 columns. First, sector submit to commitment. term and limitation. Don't worry, I'm going to explain to you. Number 3, condition and qualification for national treatment. And number 4, additional treatment. 4 mode of supply. Very important. ត្រីទី2នេះណា 4 mode of supply នេះគឺសំខាន់បំផុតនៅក្នុង service បើយើងរៀន service មិនចេះអាហ្នឹងគឺយើងមិនអ្នក trade ទេហើយពេលខ្ញុំប្រជុំនៅក្រសួងនោះពេលប្រជុំចប់ខ្ញុំបានមិត្តភ័ក្តិច្រើនមកពីក្រសួងមហាផ្ទៃមកពីក្រសួងព័ត៌មានក្រសួងដែនដីគាត់អាសាតាក់ទងមកខ្ញុំសួរខ្ញុំថនជួយបញ្យល់អាហ្នឹងទេអាហ្នឹងវាសំខាន់ពីព្រោះស្ដាប់ទៅគឺវាសំខាន់ខ្លាំងវាតាក់ទងទៅដល់ក្រសួងខ្ញុំមួយនោះវាសិតតាក់ទងអញ្ចឹងវាមានន័យថាម៉េចអានេះគឺជា mode of supply នៃ service. Okay. Mode 1. So again, guys, be careful. This might be appearing in the exam. Okay. There are 4 modes of supply. Mode 1 is cross-border supply. What do you mean by cross-border supply? Cross-border supply means the supply of service cross-border. I mean, without going through border. It is online supply of service. Let's say that if Singaporean National University, let's say the National University of Singapore and US want to teach Cambodian students, but during COVID-19, they cannot teach physically. So Singaporean SNU and US, okay, decided to provide online education service to Cambodia. And then Cambodian students who pay the fee to study in Singapore right now can just stay at home and then study online. Okay, so Singapore provide service to Cambodia, and then Cambodia enjoy the service in Singapore. Okay, from Singapore online. So cross-border supply here means the supply of service by using electronic means, okay, without going through the border. Cross-border, okay, online means, okay, online platform. For example, you don't want to have medical treatment in Thailand, but you can just, for example, have the medical treatment, have the medical check in Cambodia, and then show the check. So your check result, your diagnosis result to the doctor in Thailand by sending them through email. Here, professor, here, doctor, can you tell me what medicine I should take? Because right now my health check is right now shown right here. We got A, B plus and 1, 2, 3 Celsius, for example. Can you tell me what medicine that I should take? So this kind of service provided by the Thai doctor to Cambodia that will incur a fee paid by the Cambodian people, Cambodian patient to Thai doctor, is a cross-border supply of service because it is performed electronically without coming physically between 2 people. That the one is the user and second one is the supplier. So again, to make it simple, cross-border supply is the supply by using electronic means across country and country without going through the border. You got a point? Okay, guys?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Consumption abroad. Mode number 2, very important. Consumption abroad means you go to consume service in the foreign country. You need to consume abroad. Okay. If I open, okay, mode 2, okay, for tourism, it means that I will allow my own people to consume using your service provided in Singapore. Okay. Provided in Singapore. Let's say that the Cambodian government decided to open mode 4, mode 2 of service in tourism. So it means that right now the Cambodian people can fly to Singapore to consume the service. For example, visit Marina Bay, visit various 5-star hotel in Singapore. You can stay there, enjoy a lot of tourism service right there provided by Singapore. Okay, it is called mode 2, consumption abroad, by letting your own people, your own consumer to consume service overseas. Not electronically anymore, but overseas. You can go to consume there. Okay, we call consumption abroad. Consumption abroad. Mode 3, commercial operation. Okay. If the government of Cambodia open mode 3 for a service, let's say that health service, okay, it means that the foreign country, the foreign company can come to provide health service in Cambodia, but build a hospital there. You must have commercial operation. You must have the presence of commercial operation. If you want to provide health service in Cambodia, make sure that you have commercial operation of health building or hospital, not health building, hospital. If you want to provide education service in Cambodia, if I open mode 3, you can create school in Cambodia. We call commercial operation. If you want to provide legal service in Cambodia, you can create a law firm in Cambodia. Make sure that you have commercial operation. You got a point? Okay. It's not about cross-border supply. It's not about consumption abroad. But you come to Cambodia and then have the commercial operation right here, have the factory, have the building, have the market. If you want to provide business company, business service, if you want to provide banking service, create a bank right here, have the commercial operation of the bank, okay? Have the bank present here, okay? Okay. We call mode 3. You got a point, guys? All right.
Yes, teacher.
Mode 4, and P, the movement of natural person. And I think if you are a law student, you will know the difference between natural person and the legal person. The natural person we refer to the person like us, the person that is born in nature, with the blood, with skin, with the breath, and so on. Okay, so with breath and so on. Okay, so the movement of natural person means the movement of natural person, the physical person like us, from one place to another to perform service. Okay, to perform service. For example, if Cambodia open mode 4, a lot of Vietnamese guys will be coming to Cambodia to perform service. Let's say that to come to clean house, to be the waitress, okay, to be the shopkeeper, okay, and many other jobs, many other occupations. So if we open mode 4, it will cause a number of immigration issues. Okay, that is why if you go to see the schedule of commitment of the WTO member, you will see that mode 4 is always put unbound. Unbound means not committed. Okay, not open. Okay, so mode 4 is very dangerous. Okay, but however, I want to clarify that the word natural person here. Okay, guys, there are two types of person in law: natural person, the person like us, a legal person, but for the institution, organization. Okay, and why don't we put movement of person that will include physical person or legal person and natural person alike? Anybody know why we don't put the word legal person as well in this MNP? Why we only allow natural person? Anybody know why? Legal person is the person that is formed by law, meaning that not the person like us, not the person with the blood, with skin, but refer to the school, refers to the institution, the organization that is formed by the law. Okay, you can file complaint against all UPP, not against people, but against all UPP as a whole. Okay. And then the board of director of all UPP will deal with you. But you do not file complaint against any individual, any natural person, but you file complaint against the legal person, the person that is legally recognized by law, the school, okay, the university, okay, the IL, IGPP, okay, the hospital. Okay. Doing Chai file complaint not against a certain doctor in Thailand, but Doing Chai file complaint against a Thai hospital in Thailand. Doing Chai, a natural person, file complaint against a legal person in Thailand. Okay. But mode 4 here, movement of natural person. Why don't we also include legal person like institution or organization? Anybody know why? Come on. Anybody can tell me why don't we put legal person inside the MNP right here? Come on, guys. Because if we put legal person, it will be overlapping with mode 3. Because mode 3 is commercial person, the presence of organization, the presence of school, the presence of university, the presence of institution already, right? You got a point?
Got it back.
All right. Okay. That is why we only include natural person. And I want to remind that natural person here under the WTO law, under service schedules, under GATS agreement, is only skilled natural person. Okay. But we don't put skill here. But the movement of natural person means the movement of skilled natural person. Only the skilled people. Okay. So not all people, just like all Vietnamese, if we allow MNP, and then MNP include everybody who is natural, who is a physical person like us. So all Vietnamese will be coming to Cambodia. And then if we file complaint again, then why do you come here? No, you open mode 4, huh? You open mode 4, and then we can travel across Cambodia. No, you cannot. Okay. Mode 4 here, natural person only refer to the skilled person, the skilled natural person, okay? Not unskilled. But the question is, what do you mean by the word skill? To what extent that you can measure that this person is skillful or not? Okay, that is another issue of debate. Okay. For situation in the mode of supply, full commitment means none. If you see that mode 1 in tourism, they put none, meaning that we have no limitation. You can provide cross-border supply whatever you want to. If they put none in consumption abroad, you can allow your own people to consume service right there. If they put none in commercial prison, it means that you are allowed to open office, open any headquarter, to build any headquarter, to build hospital, school in Cambodia. Okay. So none mean no commitment. None mean no barrier. It means full commitment. Okay, full commitment to liberalize, to open. Number two, if you see they put commitment with limitation, means that they are also open, but they have some condition before they open. For example, foreigner can open restaurant in Cambodia, but the restaurant must be 200 square meter up. Okay, foreigner can own the hotel, can be the hotel in Cambodia. Tourism service be open, but the hotel must be 3-star up, 4-star up. Okay, so commitment with limitation. Third one, no commitment, meaning that unbound, especially in mode 4. Because if we put none in mode 4, many people will be coming in. Yeah, even though they are skilled people, but we can imagine what if skilled people are coming in just like a flood, and then what about our own local people who are also skilled in the same sector, same subject matter? They will lose their job. So mostly there is always unbound in mode 4 in most services. Okay. And number 4, that is rarely happen. It's about no commitment, technically possible, meaning that we do not want to close, but we cannot impulse, we cannot open it because it is not technically feasible. Okay, feasible. So go to see the actual list with me. It is very actual. Okay. So, guy, it is the service schedule of commitment of Cambodia that Cambodia has submitted to WTO and be updated upon negotiation. But you can, yeah, I want to find one important service for you to check. Okay. Let's go to see this one. Okay. This one is subsector, column number 1, column number 2, limitation on market access. And number 3, limitation on national treatment, and the last one in national additional comment. But this one do not care much. Okay. Okay. And then you see here, anybody see the point, section number 5 here? Educational service. Did you see my cursor? Right here?
Yes.
Okay. You guys, all you see it right now? So we can move on.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Okay. Go with me right now. Okay. You will be very much interested to know. Okay. Higher education service. It can be university, like bachelor degree, master degree, or PhD. Okay. And the code for the service is CPC 923. And we also have adult education, and we also have other education service. So these 3 points are inside inside section number 5, educational service. So educational service is the sector, and 3, 4, 5 are subsector. So let me ask you, they put none in number 1. What does it mean? They put none in number 1. What does it mean? And you can see number 1 mean cross-border supply. Number 2 mean consumption abroad. Number 3 mean commercial prison. Number 4 mean presence of national prison. Pay. So they put none in number 1 right here. Anybody can tell me what does it mean?
Full commitment in cross-border supply.
For example. Yeah, for example, very good. But for example.
Where, teacher?
Okay. Got it now, right? None. Yeah, full commitment in mode 1, cross-border supply. An
So
example.
they
Yes.
don't really have any limitation on the commitment for the service that they put like in the online platform for the cross-border.
Yeah, but yeah, you are very right, very correct. But can you give me one example? I talk about Singapore, and can you give me one example about, let's say, other country? Okay, so let's say that you are right now registered for the online for the study at the University of Bristol, and then right now because of the COVID-19, can you still study? Can you still enjoy using the service from Bristol to Cambodia?
Can, but through online platform.
Exactly, through cross-border supply. I mean, no need to go to fly from Cambodia to UK, but you can just enjoy by electronic mean, okay, online platform. Okay, so we put none. But if we put unbound, it means that we do not allow Bristol University to provide online teaching to Cambodia. We close. We do not allow. You cannot study online from Cambodia, okay, because we block it. We put it unbound, but here we put none, meaning that it is full. There is no limitation on market access for mode 1 in terms of higher education. What about none in number 2? None in number 2. Anybody can give me one example, one explanation? Very easy.
It means that you can go to take the service outside.
Yeah, can you visit Pattaya by mode 2 none here?
Yes.
Exactly. You can go to visit Bali in Indonesia without having any limitation between Cambodia and I mean, Cambodia does not. Okay, you cannot go to Malaysia. You cannot go to Singapore. You cannot go to Indonesia, Thailand. We limit your consumption of service in mode 2, consumption abroad. But here we put none, meaning that okay, you can go if you want to visit Malaysia, if you want to visit Marina Bay of Singapore, if you want to visit Yangon of Myanmar, you can just go. We don't block you. We don't block any flight. We don't block any outbound flight. So we put none in mode 2, meaning that we have full commitment to open consumption abroad sector, consumption abroad mode for you. You can go to consume service abroad. Okay. And what about none in number 3? None in number 3. The same section 5 educational service, but we put none in number 3. What does it mean?
Does it mean for the institution that is interested to open the service in
Cambodia? Yes.
Cambodia, they have to have their like if they were to invest in a school, then they have to build a school in Cambodia.
Yes. All right. So not have to, but they can build school. If, for example, if you want to, like right now, Bristol, you can imagine. Okay. We put mode number 1. We put unbound in mode number 1. So meaning that Bristol cannot provide online teaching to Cambodia. All right. We put unbound in mode number 2. It means that Cambodian people cannot go to study in Bristol, okay, in UK. But we put none in mode number 3. So what does it mean? Can Bristol come to Cambodia and then build a small school, small college in Cambodia here to provide teaching service to Cambodian students? Can it do so?
Yes.
Exactly. So even those unbound in mode 1, unbound in mode 2 for that education service, but it is none in mode 3, meaning that Bristol can build office, can build college, can build subsidiary office, can build headquarters, can build it, what we call, I don't understand, but partner office in Cambodia, putting Bristol University based in Cambodia. It can do so, and then Cambodia can enjoy using service in Cambodia provided by Bristol. But mode 4, they put unbound, guys. They put unbound. It means that they are not open except as indicated in the horizontal section. It is not mentioned here. Because in horizontal section there is a list of horizontal list, okay, about it, but I cut only one tab bar right here, so we cannot see. But it means that we close M&P. Okay, I mean you cannot allow your foreigner to teach in Cambodia only if we except indicated in horizontal section, because in horizontal section they set some condition. If you certify, for example, you have master, you have PhD, you have very good skill, you can be exempted from unbound mode here. It means that you still can come. They put unbound here, meaning that MNP, movement of natural person, cannot come to Cambodia. Natural person in the foreign country cannot come to perform service in Cambodia. But except, for example, when they meet qualification criteria, let's say that they have master, they have PhD. Okay, so this is very important, guy. This is very important. Okay. Okay. And you can see AD is now common. Okay. It means that power, I mean none. We open almost everything, but they put AD is now common. Cambodia put that. Cambodia will seek to establish an independent national accrediting process for market purpose in education and professional. ជុំនេះថាអ្នកឯងមកបានអ្នកឯងផ្ដល់ការសិក្សាបានអ្នកឯងអាចកសាងសាលារៀននៅទីបានប៉ុន្តែអ្នកឯងត្រូវតែ មានការទទួលស្គាល់ពីគណៈកម្មការទទួលស្គាល់គុណភាពអប់រំរបស់កម្ពុជា CCC នេះ Cambodia Accreditation Center ណា committee ណា CAC ខ្ញុំភ្លេចបាត់ហើយប៉ុន្តែយើងបើកទាំងអស់ប៉ុន្តែយើងដាក់លក្ខខណ្ឌកន្លែងចុងក្រោយគឺថាទោះបីជាខ្ញុំបើកប៉ុន្តែមុននឹងអ្នកឯងចូលមកអ្នកឯងត្រូវទទួលបានការទទួលស្គាល់ពីគណៈកម្មការទទួលស្គាល់គុណភាពអប់រំឧត្តមសិក្សារបស់កម្ពុជាជាមុនសិនណាតួតន់នោះគឺយើងតន់នោះអាហ្នឹងគឺជាលក្ខខណ្ឌមួយអាហ្នឹងជាលក្ខខណ្ឌមួយគឺចងទាំងអស់ឥឡូវខ្ញុំឲ្យមើលករណីរបស់កម្ពុជាមួយទៀតដើម្បីយើងសួរមើលទាំងអស់គ្នាតើមើលឈប់ចាំផ្លែតកំពុងដល់ service commitment របស់កម្ពុជាហើយបើយើងនឹង enjoy sorry hello guys, so welcome back. Let's see the service of Cambodia, the full picture of Cambodia commitment, and you can take it. I'm gonna upload for you, and then you can read to know the actual picture of the Cambodian service commitment. What we have open so far, what we have not, or where we have not so far. Like that. I don't know why it doesn't work well for my.ចាំមកផ្លេសនេះយើងខ្ញុំនេះតិច Okay. Okay, can you see the service commitment of Cambodia right now?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, like
Okay, very good. Okay, let's go to see legal service. តើយើងបើកច្បាប់ឲ្យគេបានអត់ Okay. យើងមើលទាំងអស់គ្នានេះ horizontal ឯនេះទាំងអស់ horizontal អញ្ចឹងយើងចង់មើល exact listed in horizontal មកមើលក្នុងនេះកន្លែងណាគេបើកលក្ខខណ្ឌគេខ្លះហើយយើងរំលងហ្នឹងមកមើលកន្លែងនេះ legal service គេចាំមកភ្លើខ្ញុំចុះទៅបើក free ឲ្យបន្តិចហើយទីទៀតខ្ញុំមកវិញហើយចាំប្រាប់ខ្ញុំមិនសួរពីណាគេឲ្យជួយវីដេអូខ្ញុំទៅតាមមកហើយមានទី3តាក់ទង commercial operation គឺយើងមានលក្ខខណ្ឌ All right. Anybody can tell me whether the foreigner can provide online legal service to Cambodia or not?
Can, sir. Can.
Yes, indeed. So European lawyer, Japanese lawyer can provide online legal consultation service to consumer in Cambodia, right? Consumer in Cambodia, because Cambodia put none. Okay, put none. Number 2. Okay. Can Cambodian people seek legal service supplied by the foreign people? Okay. The first one, they supply to us, but this one can we supply or can we enjoy using in a foreign country? Consumption abroad?
Yes, teacher.
Yeah. So if, for example, I got a conflict with Mr. B and then I don't want to hire the Cambodian lawyer in Cambodia because I believe that I don't want to confront in the court. So I might only get the legal service supply, I mean, seeking consultation from the very expert lawyer. Okay. But the other Cambodia, now the Cambodia, the EU, she looking at the Pon Co Mono. Dương ọt pra mê tv khmai thì mê tv khmai ọt chế bắp ní cam ăn đã chế tê dương tới chul mê tvនៅ Brussels យើងបងលើគេគឺគេ consult online អាហ្នឹងយើង consum sơn abroad គឺយើង enjoy using service abroad អូខេពីព្រោះយើងផុតណាន់ហើយអញ្ចឹងគឺ EU ប្រទេសទាំងអស់ដែលជាសមាជិក WTO ហ្នឹងដែលមានអ្នកច្បាប់ហ្នឹងគឺអាចផ្ដល់សេវាកម្មយើងហើយយើងអាច consume ទៅប្រទេសគាត់បានយើងបើចាំ online គឺយើងជិះទៅគឺគ្នាយើងក្រុមការងារយើងបានជិះទៅ Brussels តែម្ដងដើម្បីទៅជួបជាមួយ BTV ដើម្បីត្រៀមចរចាវាបកទៅលើនៅគណៈកម្មការរបស់ EU ដើម្បីឆ្លើយតបទៅនឹងយន្តការ EU ដាក់ពន្ធលើអង្គរ Indica Right របស់កម្ពុជានិងមីយ៉ាន់ម៉ាឆ្នាំ 2018 ហ្នឹងអញ្ចឹងគឺយើងផុតណានគឺយើងអាចទៅប្រើប្រាស់ legal service ដែរ But number 3 can foreign lawyer create law firm in Cambodia, establish law firm in Cambodia? Can they? Can they? Anybody can tell me? Can they create law firm, commercial person? They of course, right now they can provide legal service to Cambodia, but can they have the legal office in Cambodia? Let's say that European lawyer group legal firm. Can they do so?
Not yet.
Yes, they can, but not yet, because in mode 3 here, commercial person here, we don't put none. We don't put none mean open. We don't put none, but we put condition by saying in commercial association with Cambodian law firm. Meaning that if you want to open, you can provide legal service to Cambodia, but if you want to open legal office, law firm in Cambodia, you must, join commercial association with Cambodia. For example, you must share a 49%, while Cambodian law firm must be 51%. It must be higher than the foreign capital. So you can join with the Cambodian law firm and then joint venture. Two law firm, one is foreign and second one is national, join together. And then you, of course, can right now open your commercial presence in Cambodia, law office in Cambodia. And even though you right now can open the legal office, law office in Cambodia, you cannot represent the client in the court. You can only give them legal consultancy service, but you cannot, let's say, sir, I want you to defend me at the court of Cambodia, appellate court, because right now I feel that I'm not secure. I'm not really feeling reliable with the Cambodian lawyer, Cambodian ethnic lawyer. They use a lot of, they took a lot of money from me, but they did not give me a very critical legal defense for me. So I want you to represent me at the court. No. We allow you to create law firm here, but you must join association with Cambodian law firm, and you cannot represent the client in the court. The client must be represented or defended by the Cambodian lawyer. So we open, but we also limit with some condition with regards to the commercial presence mode 3 right here. And mode 4 again, unbound. You can create law office here, but you cannot allow your unskilled lawyer to Cambodia. You can get a lawyer here, but you cannot. I want to also get some cleaner with me they are not law expert. We only allow the legal expert, the skilled people to come in and pay. But if you are not the legal expert, and just like you are cleaner, you are a cook, you cannot come. You are not skilled. But Cambodia put unbound. Meaning that you cannot come. But is it really cannot come? No, they put except as indicated in the horizontal section. Banita kìm liên cạnh này lực lên. Chẳng bà xin chỉ trách đó này, bà xin chỉ trao crom, mình trao crom, bà xin chỉ mê tụi vì attorney lawyer chung chít sổ kế đó này. Trong một phương nào trong một đo sẽ ba nó không má đòi bộ quát máu tại đó cứตัวแต่มีแหละคันเส้นตัวแต่จุดคันในแหละคันต้องแต่มือขังเลือkhi mình chọn từ hai ngày nóคือก่อนlà dương đăng thà dương chọn bênคันdương đâu từมือlại horizontal section này anh lừa này về miền trời này អញ្ចឹងយើងមើលដល់មកដឹងថាតើមានលក្ខខណ្ឌអីគេអញ្ចឹងអាកន្លងនេះសំខាន់នេះកន្លងនេះតើតទៅនឹង national treatment ទេវាគ្រាន់តែពីរវាងក្នុងស្រុកហើយនិងបរទេសត្រូវស្មើគ្នាមិនហ្នឹងអត់ចាំបាច់ប៉ុន្តែអានេះបើកគឺសំខាន់ជាងគេហើយយើងមើល mode កន្លែង mode 3នេះកន្លែង firm គេដាក់ footnote 1អញ្ចឹងយើងមកមើល footnote ទាំងអស់គ្នាកន្លែងហ្នឹងគឺតទៅទៅនឹងត្រូវតែចូលរួមជាមួយនឹងក្រុមហ៊ុនក្នុងស្រុកអូខេអញ្ចឹងយើងទៅមើល footnote 1គេដាក់មិនអូខេ if legal service provided in foreign law including home country and third country law and international law the commercial association with the Cambodian law firm is not required commercial association is understood to include any commercial arrangement and does not apply specific judicial form អញ្ចឹងបានន័យថាគេតម្រូវច្បាប់ខ្មែរ service commitment របស់កម្ពុជាតម្រូវឲ្យក្រុមហ៊ុនមេធាវីបរទេសហ្នឹងបើចង់មកនេះស្រុកខ្មែរគេត្រូវតែ join association ជាមួយនឹង Cambodian law firm ប៉ុន្តែគេបានដាក់លក្ខខណ្ឌគេបើសិនជាក្រុមហ៊ុននោះគឺគ្រាន់តែមក provide service នៅក្នុងកម្ពុជាប៉ុន្តែមិនបកស្រាយច្បាប់មិនអនុវត្តច្បាប់មិនដើម្បីមក provide legal service នៅលើច្បាប់ខ្មែរទេប៉ុន្តែគឺច្បាប់ home country គឺច្បាប់របស់ប្រទេសគាត់គេថាឥឡូវយើងមានចំនួននៅកម្ពុជារឿងច្បាប់អឺរ៉ុបអញ្ចឹងពួកអឺរ៉ុបអាចមកបានគេហើយមិនបាច់ចាំ register ជាមួយ Cambodian law firm ទេពីព្រោះក្នុងនេះគេដាក់ footnote 1គឺបើសិនជា European law យើងហ្នឹងមកដើម្បីផ្ដល់ប្រឹក្សាច្បាប់តាក់ទងទៅនឹង foreign law គឺមិនមែន law របស់កម្ពុជាទេប៉ុន្តែជា law របស់ home country គឺ home country របស់ពួក EU ហ្នឹងហើយនឹង third country third country law ហ្នឹងគឺវាតែច្បាប់របស់ប្រទេសថៃដែរមិនមែននៅកម្ពុជាអញ្ចឹង EU វាមកបើសិនជាដោះស្រាយច្បាប់ពីឬក៏ច្បាប់ប្រទេសថៃប្រទេសផ្សេងដែរមិនមែនជាកម្ពុជាគឺអត់ចាំបាច់ join association ជាមួយនឹង Cambodian law firm អីអូខេអញ្ចឹងអត់មានចាំបាច់ join association ជាមួយ Cambodian law firm អីបើសិនជាប្រឹក្សាតែលើច្បាប់អន្តរជាតិដែលខុសពីច្បាប់កម្ពុជា You got a point? Okay អត់មិនបានខ្ញុំលើកកន្លែងហ្នឹងនិយាយឆ្លោះជាមួយ EU ទូរងហើយអត់ទាន់ដោះស្រាយចេញទេនិយាយធំរបស់ហ្នឹងខ្ជិលលក្ខការយល់អីតែកុំមាត់កុំអីអាហ្នឹងគឺយើងនៅតែកំពុងដោះស្រាយជាមួយហើយខ្ញុំជាមួយក្រុមការងារអាដាមសុសុភ័ក្រអាដាមរដ្ឋមន្ត្រីហ្នឹងហើយនឹងបងរៀបច្បាប់មួយទៀតកំពុងតែតវ៉ាដាក់ទៅលិខិត EU ដោយសារ EU វាចោទថាយើងបាននិយាយថាយើងបើកប៉ុន្តែយើងអត់ដែលមាននិយាយទេហើយយើងប្រហែលជាមានអ្នកណាធ្លាប់និយាយច្រឡំឲ្យយើងទៅប៉ុន្តែ commitment យើងនេះយើងបាននិយាយនិយាយកុំនិយាយប៉ុន្តែនិយាយកុំយកជាការប៉ុន្តែណា commitment យើងបានចែកយើងបានប្រាប់ថាតើមាន association ជាមួយ Cambodian law firm ហើយនៅក្នុង Cambodian law firm បាន association របស់ Cambodia ហ្នឹងគឺមិនបានន័យថាច្បាប់គណៈមេធាវីកម្ពុជាមេធាវីអាចបើកនេះបានតើមេធាវីហ្នឹងមានស្អីណាសញ្ជាតិអញ្ចឹងវាទៅជាអានេះយើងបើកប៉ុន្តែយើងបិទនៅក្នុងច្បាប់យើងនោះវិញអញ្ចឹងវាដូចជាបិទគេអញ្ចឹងធ្វើឲ្យ EU អត់សប្បាយចិត្តគាត់នៅតែចង់បានពីព្រោះគាត់មានអារម្មណ៍ថា EU investor ជាច្រើននៅស្រុកខ្មែរគឺចង់ឲ្យ EU lawyer មកជួយគេអត់ចង់ពឹងផ្អែកលើ Cambodian court system ទេវាញ៉ៃអញ្ចឹងទៅអញ្ចឹងអានេះគឺជាចំណុចសំខាន់ដែលខ្ញុំត្រូវតែបរៀនឲ្យយើងដឹងថាអានេះគឺជាវិធីមួយ service ហើយយើងចង់ដឹងថាជនជាតិចិនមិនបានយើងដេញទៅវិញអស់យើងទៅមើលកន្លែង tourism service ទៅឥឡូវយើងមើលកន្លែង hotel ខ្ញុំឆែកពាក្យ hotel អូខេពួកយើងឃើញ hotel កន្លែងនេះគឺសំខាន់កណ្ដាលវាច្បាស់តែម្ដងគឺយើងឃើញ hotel លើនេះ tourism and travel related service ឃើញទេ
Yes teacher
ពួកយើងមើល mode 3គេដាក់មិនបានន័យថាគឺគេឲ្យជនបរទេសបើក commercial operation គឺមាន hotel មិនប៉ុន្តែមានប្រមាណ star ហ្នឹងទៅបានឲ្យបើក 3 or 3 star តោះ3 star ប៉ុន្តែយើងទៅមើលចិនយើងមកមើលមុខពុយតុងបើកព្រមព្រៀបបើហើយសួរប្រមាណ star អាខ្លះបានមួយ star បានកន្លះ star ទេគ្រាន់តែផ្ទះសំណាក់មួយក៏ចិនដែរអាហ្នឹងជារឿងនៅថាឥឡូវយើងធ្វើម៉េចច្បាប់យើងមានតាច្បាប់យើងមានយើងនៅតែដោះស្រាយតាយើងនៅតែយកទៅអនុវត្តទៅហើយពេលយើងអនុវត្តពួកចិនអាចបកកាយយើងបានទេទោះបីរដ្ឋាភិបាលចិនមានដំណាក់ល្អពីកម្ពុជាតែនេះយើងអនុវត្តច្បាប់ commitment schedule របស់យើងក៏ commitment យើងមានហើយតើតា3 star នៅកំពង់សោមតើតា3 star បានឲ្យមានឬក៏4 star 5 star តែបើមក star 2 star ឬក៏ក្រុម3 star គឺអត់ឲ្យមានទេតែអត់ឲ្យមាន commercial operation ទេអូខេចាប់ឲ្យបានកន្លែងហ្នឹងហើយយើងមក restaurant ខ្ញុំចង់ឲ្យពួកយើងនេះអស់ restaurant នេះសិតតាចំណេះដឹងដែលជុំអូខេពួកយើងមើលឃើញ restaurant នេះ restaurant ជនបរទេសអីណាចាំមើលឃើញខ្ញុំ highlight អត់
Yes teacher
យើងអត់មាន cái lại nó dân unbound bởi thay dương ở committee Việt đây mean online supply of restaurant ấy thảo what that mean online cross border supply of restaurant that mean nó dùng xong send food mau tam online vẫn miên okay chẳng là unbound okay got the point. Okay, number two, cái consumption abroadคือយើងអាចទៅ enjoy using restaurant in the rest of the world ប្រទេសណាក៏បានដែរប៉ុន្តែ number three ទៀតយើងអនុញ្ញាតប៉ុន្តែសុថាតើយើងអនុញ្ញាតក្នុងកម្រិតណាបើថាយើងអត់មាន commercial operation ឲ្យពួកជនបរទេសបើក restaurant ស្រុកខ្មែរបានប៉ុន្តែយើង permit បានលុះត្រាតែគេ take into account characteristic of the area គឺគិតពីទំហំនៃ restaurant ទេមិនមែនផ្ទះសំណាក់មួយអាហ្នឹងវាខុសពី hotel មិញហើយដល់ពេលវាបើក restaurant នៅហ្នឹងទៀតដី2 ម៉ែត្រ 4 ជ្រុង 3 ម៉ែត្រ 4 ជ្រុងមានតុ2កៅអី3ហើយទៅជា restaurant មួយជនបរទេសបើកវាជាទីផ្សារក្នុងស្រុកផ្ទះអ្នកលក់បាយរបស់ជនជាតិកម្ពុជាត្រូវពួកចិនបដើមយកអស់អញ្ចឹងអត់ទេគឺអ្នកឯងអាចបើក restaurant បាននៅក្នុងស្រុកខ្មែរលុះត្រាតែអ្នកឯង take into account characteristic of the area ហើយ area នេះគេដាក់ footnote 5យើងទៅមើល area ប្រហែលអូខេ footnote 5 okay footnote the main criteria are the number of and impact of existing restaurant អូខេគេឲ្យគិតពី impact ហើយគេឲ្យគិតថា restaurant ដែលយើងដាក់ហ្នឹងតើវានៅជា restaurant ចំនួនប្រមាណគេស្អីគេទៀតតកតងទៅនឹង historical and artistic characteristic of location តើអាទីតាំងដែលយើងដាក់នោះវាតកតងកន្លែងប្រវត្តិសាស្ត្រអត់យកកន្លែងយក restaurant ចិនទៅដាក់ក្នុង Go What ដាក់កើតអត់ទេយក restaurant ចិនទៅដាក់ចិត្តសារ៉ាន់ទីកន្លែង artistic characteristic នេះសួរថាកើតអត់អូខេ geographic spread impact on traffic អូខេsecond condition and creation of new employment អញ្ចឹងទាំងអស់ហ្នឹងសុទ្ធតែត្រូវការពិចារណាមុននឹងអនុញ្ញាតឲ្យជនបរទេសបើក restaurant បាទហើយបើនិយាយពីច្បាប់ស្តីអំពីការសាងសង់សំណង់បរទេសមាននៅកម្ពុជាអាចធ្វើបានលុះត្រាតែមានទំហំធំជាង 2000 ម៉ែត្រការ៉េច្បាប់បាននិយាយច្បាប់ស្តីពីសំណង់អញ្ចឹងអានេះវាមានហើយច្បាប់សំណង់យើងចែកមកបន្តទៀតជនបរទេសអាចបើក restaurant តូចៗបានទេចាំបាននោះគ្នាយើង
Yep teacher
អូខេអញ្ចឹងលីសនេះគឺសំខាន់ណាស់ហើយយើងមើលមិនបានយើងអាចដេញចិនដេញអីបាន restaurant hotel មកបើយើងមិនដែរដេញណាហើយបើយើងដេញបានដែរច្បាប់យើងមានតើនេះហើយបើយើងអត់ដឹងទេអត់ដឹងថាមិនបានយើងមិនដេញចិនមិនបានឡើយគេដេញបានច្បាប់ណាចែកមិនបានអនុវត្តច្បាប់អាជ្ញាធរគាត់មានតែដឹងអីគ្នាយើងលើស៊ូតែគ្នាយើងបបាយើងធ្វើការនៅកៅវិញគាត់មានដែរមកមើលនេះអត់ហើយខ្ញុំប្រាប់មួយចុះមេខ្ញុំគឺជាប្រធានចរចាខ្ញុំសំណាងដែលបានទៅសួរពាណិជ្ជកម្មហើយត្រូវបានគាត់ប្រម៉ូតរហូតដោយសារតែយើងធ្វើការជូនចប់អ្នកខ្លាំងធម្មតានៅក្រសួងតែមានខ្លាចាស់មួយហើយគាត់គឺជាប្រធានចរចារបស់កម្ពុជាគាត់ជាអ្នកដោះស្រាយនឹង EVA គាត់ជាប្រធានចរចាកម្ពុជាចិន ITA the first time in history ហ្នឹងភាសាចិនជាពាក់គុណគាត់ពេលគាត់ទៅជួយចិននៅពេលដែលចិនចូល WTO ឆ្នាំ2001យើងចិនជាពាក់គុណគាត់ពេលទៅជួបសម្ដេចទៅហ្នឹងគាត់ទៅជាមួយហ្នឹងគឺចិនបានជួបគាត់ថាយើងចរចាទេដោយសារតែសំណើពីសម្ដេចហើយដោយសារជាពាក់គុណឯកឧត្តមម្នាក់ដែលគាត់ធ្លាប់ជួយចិនឲ្យចូល WTO អញ្ចឹងគេរំលឹកឈ្មោះមេខ្ញុំខ្ញុំនៅហ្នឹងគឺសម្ដេចក៏រសើរសមាជិកហ្នឹងទៅដោយសារតែមនុស្សម្នាក់គេមាន IPA ប៉ុណ្ណាណីហើយគាត់នឹងឲ្យអ្នកជំនាញនេះហើយគាត់បានទទួលការពឹងពាក់ពីអារម្មណ៍គីកញ្ញរិទ្ធដោយសាររឿង VOA ហើយស៊ីសេរីត្រូវបានយើងដេញចេញបិទ office បិទអីហើយយើងឲ្យប៉ុស្តិ៍ផ្សាយទៀតគេតែពេលហើយយើងបាត់សួរថាឥឡូវគេចង់ប្តឹងយើងដល់ពេលស្រាប់តែមេខ្ញុំមកមើលអានេះហើយមកមើលខ្ញុំមិនដឹងថាចូលក្នុងលេខកូដណាទេគេមិនមែនពាក្យដាក់ radio ទេប៉ុន្តែគេដាក់ពាក្យស្អីទេប៉ុន្តែគឺក្នុងនេះនៅក្នុងនេះហើយគឺមេថាយើងបាត់នឹងត្រូវហើយពីព្រោះក្នុងនេះយើងមានបើកណារឿង online supply of cross border supply គឺវាអាច supply បានប៉ុន្តែអត់ឲ្យមាន commercial present ទេអត់ឲ្យមានអីទេនៅក្នុងស្រុកខ្មែរទេអញ្ចឹងអ្នកឯងយើងមានសិទ្ធិក្នុងការដេញវាចេញអញ្ចឹងគាត់ថាមុនយើងមិនដេញគេដល់ពេលយើងបញ្យល់ហ្នឹងទៅអាមេរិកស្មាត់ឈឹងដល់ពេលអាមេរិកសួរវិញថាមិនបានមិនដេញយើងតាំងពីដំបូងបើយើងខុសច្បាប់បើយើងបងពុនមិនដេញតាំងពីដំបូងមិនទៅដេញពីមានបញ្ហានយោបាយដល់ពេលយើងសួរថាជនជាតិខ្មែរជាច្រើនទៅរស់នៅអាមេរិកខុសច្បាប់មិនបានដេញរាប់ឆ្នាំហើយមិនបានដេញពីមានបញ្ហាមិនបានឲ្យគាត់ត្រឡប់ពីភូមិនិវត្តន៍មួយទាំងគាត់រស់នៅអាមេរិក20ឆ្នាំហើយតាំងតូចពេកបានឲ្យគាត់មកស្រុកខ្មែរវិញនៅពេលមានបញ្ហាកម្ពុជានយោបាយកម្ពុជាអាមេរិកស្ងាត់មកដល់ឈឹងតែម្ដងអញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំនឹកស្មានថាគាត់រស់នឹកឃើញឡើយហ្នឹងអូសាហាវអញ្ចឹងមកថាមនុស្សចាស់ខ្លះមិនប្រកាសថាចាស់នេះយើងនិយាយថាឈាមថ្មីគឺគួរតែចំនួនចាស់អត់ទេខ្ញុំគោរពចាស់ណាស់សាហាវណាស់បាទនេះជាបទពិសោធន៍ការងារមួយដែលខ្ញុំសប្បាយហើយធ្វើការមានមោទនភាពមាននិយាយទៅមាន motivation ដោយសារមានមេដែលខ្លាំងមានមេដែលនេះ គាត់ចប់ពីអង់គ្លេសដែរគាត់ចប់ពីអង់គ្លេសពីជប៉ុនហើយភាសាក៏បានអីក៏បានហើយចំណេះដឹងទៅច្បាប់ហើយបច្ចេកទេសរៀនគាត់បានច្រើនណាស់អាហ្នឹងគឺជា motivation របស់ខ្ញុំដែលប្រឹងធ្វើការប្រឹងស្វែងយល់ខ្ញុំប៉ុន្តែចេះខ្ញុំមិនអាចត្រូវតែមើលបានស៊ីជម្រៅប៉ុន្តែគាត់បរៀនឲ្យទាំងអស់បរៀនមួយឲ្យទៅរៀនមួយជនបរទេសទៅអង់គ្លេសគាត់ប្រាប់ឪពុកម៉ាក់គាត់ជាចាច់នៅវីដេអូហ្នឹងឲ្យជួយមើលបន្ថនយកអីទៅអូអញ្ចឹង very warm អូខេ very warm អូខេអញ្ចឹងនេះគឺជាចំណេះដឹងបច្ចេកទេសសុទ្ធសាធតែម្ដងដែលពួកយើងអាចយកទៅមើលខ្ញុំនឹងដាក់ឲ្យក្នុងក្រុមហើយដាក់ក្នុងទូរស័ព្ទមើលទៅក្នុងករណីកណាមួយគេចង់សួរថាអាហ្នឹងមិនបានគេបិទគេបើកប្រាប់គេទៅវាមានហេតុមានផលវាអញ្ចឹងច្បាប់ជាមានចែកហើយអូខេហើយចុងក្រោយ slide ចុងក្រោយគឺខ្ញុំអត់បញ្យល់ឲ្យច្រើនទេដូចអាមុនទាំងអស់ណាអត់បញ្ហាទេគាត់ថាចំណុចចុងក្រោយតើតើទៅនឹង automation action ហ្នឹងគឺវាខុសពី go ត្រង់ថាអា transparency វាដូចតែគ្នាទេដូចតែគ្នាមួយទេប៉ុន្តែអាទី4ហ្នឹងគឺតកតងទៅនឹងទី5ហ្នឹងតកតងទៅនឹង lack of recognition of foreign diploma គេថាគាត់ចង់ perform service ប៉ុន្តែសញ្ញាបត្រខ្លះគេអត់ទទួលស្គាល់សញ្ញាបត្រខ្ញុំទៅបីចប់ពីអង់គ្លេសប៉ុន្តែបើសិនជា apply ចង់ដាក់ការងារក្រុមហ៊ុនឯកជនគេយកប៉ុន្តែបើចូលរដ្ឋគេថាសញ្ញាបត្រណាយកបានតតែក្រសួងអប់រំទទួលស្គាល់សិនអញ្ចឹងបានខ្ញុំទៅ register នៅក្រសួងអប់រំសញ្ញាបត្រណាឲ្យទៅមកពីបរទេសអញ្ចឹងត្រូវការ recognition ពីស្ថាប័នជាតិលើ foreign diploma របស់យើងគេឬក៏ international payment transfer គេថាឥឡូវយើងបើក mode 1គេយើងបើក mode 1 cross border supply ប៉ុន្តែស្រាប់តែយើងអត់មានផ្ដល់សេវាកម្ម visa card ទេអញ្ចឹងយើង pay លុយឲ្យអា service provider នៅសិង្ហបុរីទៅរៀននៅសិង្ហបុរីនៅ Bristol យើង pay លុយគេមិនបើ international payment gateway របស់យើងអត់ដើរអត់មាន visa ហ្នឹងយើងអត់អនុញ្ញាតឲ្យប្រើ visa card master card អញ្ចឹងអានេះសិតតែជា barrier to trade and service គេយល់ខ្ញុំនិយាយគ្នាយើងអាហ្នឹងសិតតែជា barrier monopoly exclusive service provider provide មិនបើក្នុងស្រុកខ្មែរក្រុមហ៊ុនទូរស័ព្ទឲ្យតែមាន13ក្រុមហ៊ុន Mobitel smart ហើយនឹង smartphone នេះក្រុមហ៊ុនផ្សេងអត់ឲ្យបើកទេអញ្ចឹង monopoly ហ្នឹងក៏ជាបញ្ហានៃ market barrier to service ដែរគឺថាវា more than enough for you guys ហើយអញ្ចឹងយើងមានអីចង់សួរបានហើយបើអត់ទេខ្ញុំឈប់តំណឹងហើយ I go for another work but I believe that you got a lot today okay with regard to service right
teacher can you give us the midterm exam specification for next week, teacher?
I'm going to give you on Monday, all right? But trust me, it is around the bush, okay? Nothing, just like quiz, okay? Just like quiz, it's just like the question will be from chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, but mode here will be happening. But I'm going to give you one scenario, okay? One simulation, and then you will answer the question whether it's going to be falling into this mode and that mode or not, okay? So don't worry, keep it simple. I will not fail any student who join my class, okay, who are present here, because I believe that I talk a lot. So I believe that you also listen a lot, okay. So don't worry, okay. Okay, guys, any question you want to ask right now before I conclude? Yes, come on.
Also, in what situation do we need the foreign lawyer to provide service based on their home country? Like, I don't understand.
Oh, for example, if we have the conflict of law, let's say that let's say EU, okay, let's say EU is imposing safeguard measure on Cambodia based on EU regulation, and let's say that Cambodian officer in Cambodia right now do not understand the regulation of EU. So what should we do? We ask the EU lawyer to have commercial operation in Cambodia and then consult on their home country law. EU lawyer will come to Cambodia, create an office right here, okay, and then provide consultation on us. Okay, I believe I want to explain all Cambodian officers who are right now dealing the case with EU safeguard measure here to understand that provision 1 of the regulation of EU, not Cambodian law, right, but EU law, but it can perform service in Cambodia. All right, home country means the home country of the lawyer, service supplier. You got a point? Clear?
Yes, I think.
Okay, very good. And third country law means not the home country law, not Cambodia law, but WTO law, okay? International law, what else? Thailand law, Philippine law that Cambodia is not expertise in. Myanmar law article, what article that talk that Aung San Suu Kyi or the female cannot become the president of Malaysia, Myanmar. We got one article, I remember 69.6 or something, that article of constitution of Myanmar that does not allow the vice president and presidents to have foreign affiliate, foreign family member, okay? What article in the Philippine constitution that does not allow the Philippines to have the foreign military base in the country more than 10 years. Okay? We got one article I remember as well, but forgot the exact number. What article of Cambodia of Thai constitution that does not allow the king to be female? The kings of Thailand must be, I mean, the crowns of the Thai royal system must be men. Even though we love Serenthon so much, we don't like the majority of Thai people do not love Vajiralongkorn, a very stylish, a very fashionable guy in Thailand. They have to choose Vajiralongkorn because the constitution does not allow the crowns of the new king, the new queen, the new prince, let's say that, to be led by the female. That is why they decided to choose Serenthon to Vajiralongkorn, even though the majority of people in Thailand love Serenthon more than Vajiralongkorn. So I got to know about the article of constitution of country in South Asia is also one advantage for you when you talk. Okay? As I say, next week I'm gonna be on the TV show, live show on the Cambodia on China-US competition, including trade war, including curse, including BOI, and including the new policy of the US we call Indo-Pacific Strategy economic framework that was launched by the new unveiled by the new trade minister of the US to Malaysia last week, and many more issues will be showcased right there. So a lot of pressure, right? I have to do a lot of research in advance before I can make it ready in my live show here. Okay. Any more questions, guys? All right. So without further ado, and since no more question imposed, I will quit here. Then start having dinner, then I will resume my other work. Okay. Have a nice day, guys. Thank you so much for joining me, even though it is on the holiday motion on Friday. See you next week, and then enjoy the holiday with your loved one and family. Bye bye.
Bye, teacher.
Goodbye.